What? What's poppin', everybody? I'm Mike,
Brian.
and this is Hoopin' with Mike and Brian. Woo!
We back,
We
man.
at
We
the
back.
finals, baby. We at the
On top.
finals. We at the end of the road. Oh my gosh.
Would have thought, man. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I know people are looking at this, looking at me and seeing the attire, seeing the colors, and you can tell I am more than ecstatic. But before we get into our wonderful episode of Hoops, let's give a little update. I know it's been a little bit of a while since we've been on. Brian, I'm not gonna talk for Brian. Love my guy, Brian. It's good to see you, my guy. You look beautiful. I love the New York Knicks and the Thunder memorabilia you got. I love it. But unfortunately, I've been very busy with work, and I haven't been able to. My guy Brian over here has been working very, very hard, putting out content. I love you, man, for that, and I'm very grateful that you've been working very, very hard. I just know I've been working a lot. I've been trying. I told Brian before this that I've been doing a lot of stuff, falling asleep on my laptop. I have stuff in the vault for content, but I haven't been able to really finish everything. I have a crazy mind. It's almost like if American Psycho was a real movie, it'd be my brain because, like, I try my best to do everything. But, my man, Brian, how you been, man? How's life been? How's home? Everything.
Yeah, man. It's, before I get into that, I want to shout out the socials real quick. But you'll follow the Instagram at hoopin.mb, same handle at TikTok at hoopin.mb. We're also on Twitter at hoopin_mb. And we're also on YouTube and every streaming platform at Hoopin with Mike and Brian. But Mike, everything's been good, man. Just been working a little bit here and there. Doing obviously getting some videos out for content. Just watching the finals or conference finals, of course, getting ready for the finals. Yeah, just been laying low, man. Just been enjoying life, enjoying the home. A couple more months, I'll be back in Morgantown, so that'll be good. But yeah, just laying low, man. What about you? I know you've been working, but how's everything else going for you? I mean, I know the Heat are also in the finals, so.
I mean,
yeah.
I'll keep my excitement for that later on. But other than that, I mean, it's been good. I mean, nothing to really argue about. Definitely with everything going on. Recently, 5-6 days ago, it was this man's birthday.
Hey, shout out
Everyone
Jigsaw,
can
man. Happy birthday.
say hello to Jigsaw. This is my wonderful, lovely cat that I love very, very much. But yeah, no, I had his birthday about a couple days ago. We spent the day together. I don't know, really, nothing's been crazy. I've been working so much recently where it's just like I really don't have a day off. But I'm not gonna lie, I will bring up one day, and I know it's really kind of just whatever, but Monday was probably one of the best days I've had in a while, in a long time, man, because, like, obviously the result, what happened Monday night was great, but, like, it was Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day, past everybody there, happy to our vets and everything that serve our country, but, yeah, no, it was great. I went kayaking. I was on a river for, like, hours. Very amazing, awesome, with my great friends that I met out here in Morgantown. I love them to death. Shout out to my piggies out the pen. But yeah, no, nothing really going on with me. Just work, and then whatever time I have free, I'm either in here with Jigsaw or I'm like hanging out with whatever couple hours I have with my friends. So that's all that's been going on with me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, same, man. Just been chilling with the boys back here. Shout out Andre, man. Films by AD. Shout out my boy Alex too. Big Heat fan. I know he's happy. But yeah, man, just enjoying time with the boys, with the fam. So it's been fun. But we got a lot to catch up on. So
Yeah, no, we definitely do. And like I've been wanting this. I've been wanting this. I want to talk. Like, even when I was upset with how things were going with some things, man, I was just like, I need to talk. I need to say something. Like, but yeah, I mean, nothing to really argue about. I mean, I'm glad you're home, man. I'm glad you got to see our boy Dre. Shout out to Dre. I love you, man. No hard feelings. I love you, but no hard feelings, Dre. I love you. I haven't met your friend Alex, but I want to give a little shout out to your friend Alex for also being another fellow Heat fan. Hey, we in the finals, baby. So I'm happy. We still got unfinished business as per usual, but gosh, that was wow. It's been a good couple days for me, is what I will say. It's been a good couple days seeing things. Can't wait for Thursday. Can't wait for the series to start. But I know we got to get into reactions. I know we got a lot to talk about with both conference finals matchups that have gone. Their lengths. Unfortunately, one went through all the way to the farthest length. One really ended really short and fast, which I think some people are kind of still a little shocked. Maybe still more just like, why did this happen this way? But let's actually get into that because Nuggets and Lakers, 4 games.
Yeah.
LeBron is getting swept in, whew, and that hurts me. That hurts me because I'm the one praising LeBron as a GOAT.
Yeah. It's crazy because, first of all, especially in game 4 was when LeBron had that 40-point, almost triple-double.
Yeah.
At 36 years old, I believe he is, something like that. It's crazy what he did. And obviously, we got to talk about the Nuggets. The Nuggets just outplayed the Lakers every single game. Even the games where, you thought the Lakers were winning, the Nuggets went on a run late. Talking about before we got on air, Mike, but, playoff Jamal Murray needs more respect. I said it before the Lakers series. I think he's one of the most underappreciated players in the league. Obviously, rightfully so, Jokic gets a lot of the attention. 2 MVPs, the
Mhm.
triple double machines. Like he deserves it. But Murray was, I forgot what game it was where he had like 30 in the first half.
Yes,
Um,
yep. He had 30 in the
yeah,
first half. I
so
believe it was game
3 maybe.
3. Game 3,
Yeah,
I
because it
believe
was
it
it was
was.
definitely in LA. So
Yes.
it's crazy. It looks like, I mean, not with all due respect, obviously Anthony Davis is a very successful player. Like he's had a lot of success in his career, obviously. But
Mhm.
Jokic was just going at him. Like, and
He
if
was.
anyone, I thought Anthony Davis would be able to kind of contain him a little bit, but he couldn't do anything to stop the guy. I
Yeah.
think maybe game 3 was where he struggled a little bit from the field, but like Jokic was just having his way with everything, and it's crazy because every time Jokic gets the ball, I'm thinking like something good's gonna happen, something
Oh,
crazy's
yeah.
gonna happen. How many players you could say that? Like LeBron's a player you could throughout his career has that similar effect.
Mhm.
It's just crazy. And the Nuggets, they look like they look like they're the most complete team in the world right now. And with Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, like they got the role players. Shout out to Christian Brown as well, because I saw him play in college when he played in the Coliseum. But yeah, Mike, the Nuggets, man, really exploited the Lakers, and I don't know where you go if you're the Lakers from here. You got a bunch of guys you got to bring back. You're gonna ask for money like Rui Hachimura and like those types of guys, but
Mhm.
I think the Lakers are in trouble because they don't have money draft picks in the future as well, Mike. But what were your thoughts when you were watching that series?
To be honest, I thought the Lakers were outmatched. I told you this before. I said it even with you before our episode. I know I was going to keep my mouth shut since the last episode. I was going to say, some crazy stuff because I didn't think it would happen, but it happened. I said the Nuggets in 4. I really did. And I was shocked by myself thinking that, but I wasn't at the same time because, this team is so intact. Michael Malone. We even talked about this before. These coaches that build the foundation from either another great coach like George Karl or another great coach like Pat Riley, and they take that tradition and they keep it going. And Mike Malone has kept a great roster. I think the Nuggets have done a great job in getting the right pieces around Nikolai Jokic because I think that's another thing. Always
Yeah,
building around your player is always the best thing, and not just trying to build with. I think it's better when you build around than rather build with.
yeah,
Sometimes with NBA teams, because sometimes you have guys that are on another objective. You have other guys that are just like, I'm just trying to get mine and stuff like that. And this Nuggets team is all for it. I think everyone believes in Nikolai Jokic as their guy. And I would 100%. I would definitely 100% start a franchise with Nikolai Jokic 100%. I felt like they were maybe starting wise, it was about fair because you have LeBron and AD, and then really all they have not no disrespect to Jamal Murray, but you just have really like Jokic and Jamal Murray, and then everyone else just kind of like role players. So having
Mhm.
LeBron and AD is like, okay, you have those 2-star players compared to maybe their 1-star player, and then they're maybe should get the recognition of being a star player, but doesn't, and he deserves it, Jamal Murray. So
Yeah,
I feel like they were outmatched at that point because then the role players of the Nuggets, I mean, were a lot. I would not a lot, but were better than the Lakers role players.
Yeah,
And they were
no, for
hitting
sure.
more shots. They were more in rhythm. Like Lakers, they were not that they were still trying to figure it out. You still had guys where it's just like, and to be honest, I'm gonna say this: the Heat kind of had some problems about this with the games too. But like, whenever somebody was trying to find a bucket and it wasn't like your main guys like LeBron, AD, maybe Dennis Schroeder, maybe Austin Reeves, it was like they didn't know what to do. So it was like
Yeah.
they were just trying to find an easy bucket. Like I, when the Lakers took leads in games, I still didn't even feel comfortable with them winning the game. I was still like, the Nuggets are going to come back because they're still within 10 points. They're just slowly just doing their offense. Because that's another thing. I think the Nuggets have one of the best, like, offensive half courts because they're able just to give the Jokic in the high post. There's screens everywhere going around, freeing up Jamal Murray, freeing up Aaron Gordon for a oop, for a little,
Gordon,
you know.
Porter.
Michael Porter
Yeah,
Jr.
so many different guys. So many different guys. And
So many. And
yeah, I think
you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think
yeah.
that with this team. You would look at these names
Just
and
the
be like,
names don't jump out to me. Yeah.
yeah, like
But
you would look
that's
at these names and you would just be like, like they're good, but like I don't know if they're like their potential hasn't hit. Like you think Michael Porter Jr., like, oh, he's still young. You don't know if he's gonna hit that peak yet. You know, you
yeah.
got KCP, he's been in the league, but he's having one of the best
He had his
shooting.
best year. He had his best season playing with Jokic, and he played with LeBron last year. And I think you bring up, obviously great points, Mike, with the coaches. I mean, I said this before we got on there, but I don't understand why teams are firing coaches after one season.
Just
I mean, I said it to Mike before, but like you see with Nuggets and Heat, Mike Malone and Eric Spoelstra are both guys who have been there for a while and really built that culture. Like, there's been down years for both teams, and you can't just fire a coach after one bad year. Like, we'll get into it later, obviously, but with like Nick Nurse, he was a coach of the year. He led them to a championship. Like, if you lose your best players in the offseason, you can't expect your team to be better. Like, it just doesn't make sense. The expectations are crazy. And but that's why Mike Malone and Eric Spoelstra and just like those two organizations as a whole really earned my respect because they really bought into the cultures they were building. Mike Malone, like the way I like how he really defends his players too, like saying like we're up 3-0 and somehow everyone's still talking about the Lakers. Like it's crazy. And I get it, LeBron and whatnot, but like what the Nuggets are doing is spectacular. Like they are doing like everyone was saying, oh, the Lakers are going to the finals. The Nuggets swept the Lakers. The Lakers took care of the Grizzlies, who are the 2 seed, and the Warriors, who a lot of people also had coming out of the West. And the Nuggets swept them.
And see, this is where I kind of still give props even more to the Nuggets and more to just the players they have and the system that they run. Even with all that, nobody was saying the Nuggets were going to make it to the finals. Like, as much in the beginning of the playoffs, they were like, oh, the Lakers will somehow squeak in, the Warriors will get in, the Suns will get in. And this is the number one team with the number one player in the world. You're telling me they're not like they were like, oh, they have a chance, but we're gonna talk more about obviously LeBron and the Lakers. We're gonna talk more about Suns and KD. Like I get it, I understand, but we see what happens when a whole team. We're seeing this on both ends in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. When a whole team invests in winning and just not focusing on just the main player, because it's not Jokic went off almost every other game, but there was games Jokic was having like 20 and had like 15 assists because someone else was going off. Jamal Murray was going off. Michael Porter was going off. KCP was probably had like 15 points off of like threes. Like this team, when you have a team that's invested with a great coach, you're I'm not gonna say you're unstoppable, but you're to the point to where you don't want to have close games with these type of teams because they are on their stuff because one little mess up, they'll take advantage of it.
And and I think you bring up great points. And the one thing I think is more of the Phoenix series showed me that, I guess, when they beat the Suns. But having role players is more valuable than having just a bunch of stars. You see, I mean, by roster, the Suns had a better roster than the Nuggets did. Just with KD, Booker alone, and obviously you have other guys on that team like Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. But like, you need role players, and it looks like Denver, the role players, obviously Brown, Bruce Brown, they bought into that system, and that's why they're where they are right now. And same with the Heat though too. This final series is proving that. It's not like Jimmy's playing with.
Guys have stepped up to levels that we didn't think that they could step up to.
You need role players. You need role players, and that's what you're going to see this offseason, I think. teams are going to have to like trade for depth. Like teams like the Suns, they're not winning a championship if they run it back with that roster because there's just not enough
You
depth.
can't win a. You can't win a. I'll say this here right now. You cannot win a finals unless you have at least three guys on the bench that that you can depend on when they're not when you have your main five or at least a good majority of your main five off the court. You
Exactly.
can't win. You can't win because if another team at least has two and then maybe like three other guys that are at least good accompany guys to those two players, your bench team is not going to beat their bench team.
Exactly.
Your bench team is going to get outran, outplayed, outmatched, outsmarted. Like it's bad because we see that with the Nuggets. We saw what happens when you keep playing your starters. They get depleted and they're playing against good role players that come off the bench. They start making those role players look like superstars because then you're a star that's depleted. You need to go on the bench for at least a couple minutes to get your breath back, and you got to come back in the game. It's
Exactly, and it's just crazy because I mean we saw it a couple years ago with the Brooklyn Nets with that team with KD, Kyrie, and Harden. Like on paper, everyone thought they were winning a championship, but when you don't, obviously there's injuries that affected that. Again, that's part of basketball, but if you don't have depth, it's pretty simple. You're just not going to win a championship. But look at the year when Dirk beat the Big Three Miami. I know you don't want to bring up those times, but I mean,
yeah,
they
that's a
had like
little
guys
bit
like
of
Jason
a
Terry.
hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had guys like Jason Terry. I think Jason Kidd was on that team.
Jason Kidd was on
Tyson
the team.
Chandler, a bunch of guys who bought into that system and
Deshaun
played their role.
Stevenson, remember Deshaun Stevenson?
Yeah, exactly. And in the NBA, you need guys who are very like you need a bunch of different guys who are good at different things. You need some guy who will get the offensive rebound, some guy who'll get the 50-50 balls. Like you see it like with like PJ Tucker from the Sixers. Like you just need guys like
You know,
Haslam for the
Nuggets,
Heat to
they
be
got
able
Bruce
to.
Brown, and he's like 6'4", 6'5", and he played center on the Knicks or on the Nets.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the Knicks, the
Yeah.
Nets.
And me and Andre getting actually debates about this. So shout out Films by AD, not trying to call you out, Andre. But we get in disagreements about Udonis Haslam. He thinks Udonis Haslam is just a waste of a roster spot. And me personally, I could not really disagree more because you need a guy on the roster who's going to hold players accountable because it just can't be your coach yelling at you all the time. You need
Yeah.
somebody because they all respect Udonis Haslam. I mean, I believe he's the all-time leading rebounder in Heat history, and he has like three rings. Like he knows what it takes. So like
Possibly
I don't
four.
think.
Possibly four, hopefully. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and I don't think the Heat would be where they are without that veteran leadership. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
have guys like Kyle Lowry too and Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think you need my point is what I'm going at here. Again, not trying to call Andre out, but my point is you need guys who bring something different to the table. Some rebounding, shooters,
Yeah.
defending, guys who can come down and make free throws down the stretch. Like you need different things, and that's what these two teams have. Because you're seeing guys like Michael, again, we'll have to get into that a little bit later, but you have guys on the Heat and the Nuggets who are going to be getting paid now because of the one thing they do very well. So it's going to be interesting to see. But my point is here, I mean, role players definitely outvalues just having stars on your team. You need role players and guys who are going to just buy into the system and not expect to get 20 shots a night.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit more on Dre's side of understanding because, like, obviously, I love UD, and I've always loved UD, and I've always been I like it when you're a homer. I'm a very home family type of person. So like when it comes to Udonis Haslam, he's from Miami. Literally went to University of Florida.
Yeah.
Got undrafted, went to the Miami Heat. Or no, my lord, I better know this because Udonis Haslam. Yeah, I think.
Oh, he was undrafted, but he signed with the Heat.
Signed with the Heat. Got a chance. I mean, he was a Miami guy. And he brought the tradition of being an authentic Miami, like just being an authentic because I mean, I don't want to go into too much because I want to do that later when we talk about the Heat. But when you have guys like that are like they bring that I guess more just not like not just basketball, but just a little bit more than that, I guess you could say, or just more than just about scoring and stuff like that. Because UD is more about like just hustle. I'm gonna guard you as best as I can. Like that's how UD was. UD used to guard LeBron back in the day when he was like 2006, 2007, and everything. So it was always like a good thing with the Heat. But I will say with Udonis Haslam, I guess the argument that Dre was trying to bring up, he is kind of wasting a little bit of a space a little bit, I would say, even though I would also argue that in the time frame from the playoffs, even from the beginning of the season, like really that position spot that if you get that role in where Udonis Haslam is, like you have a chance to play, but like we really use maybe 7 to 8 guys during the playoffs. Like we try to use 10. We had like Tyler Zeller and oh my gosh, I'm going blank. Like Kevin Love come in, you know.
Oh no,
But we stopped using them near the end of the season, like near the end of the series against the Celtics. We stopped using, like we started using guys like Haywood Highsmith, which oh my gosh, props to being from West Virginia. Love, respect Haywood Highsmith, and I hope he gets a better role.
West Virginia.
Yeah, he played at Wheeling Jesuit, my other friend.
Oh really?
Yeah, shout out to my boy Matt, by the way. Matt, I love you, my guy. He's another big Heat fan out here, but he's a big West Virginia boy. And he when I was talking about, I was like, oh yeah, we have this guy Haywood Highsmith. I heard he's a pretty good defensive guy. He went off on him. He was like, oh yeah, from Wheeling Jesuit. He's from West Virginia. Like he knows he's really good. And I mean, Haywood Highsmith, I'll talk about that later, but I hope he gets a better chance next year. That's all I hope for him. Haywood Highsmith deserves a chance next year.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I mean, going back on the Nuggets about tradition, about like investing in guys. I mean, they even have guys that have experience. You look at their bench, you have guys like DeAndre Jordan. He was on a very successful Clippers team. You know, should have been more successful, but wasn't.
Yeah.
He, didn't he just went to the finals the other year with somebody? Was he on? He was on another team that went far last year or something.
Was he on the Lakers in the bubble? I think was he on the Laker team in the bubble?
I think because that was Dwight Howard. Wasn't that Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee?
Yeah. I don't know.
There was something. I saw something about him being brought up, but I mean, he has a chance to win a ring. The only person to win a ring from that Lob City Clippers team.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy.
Not to go off topic, but he was first team All NBA in like 2013, 14, 15. Something. It's crazy.
It's nuts, but I mean, I'm not going to give no disrespect to him because I mean, he fit perfectly for that Lob City Clippers team, and he did amazing with. I mean, I remember barely hearing about DeAndre Jordan and being like, "Oh, this guy's actually legit." But I mean, you see that. I feel like you see that in certain teams, but I will say this: sometimes when you have these guys, they go. Sometimes when you build these guys through, like not even traditions or just systems like this, they go to other teams and affect them better because they come from a good system and they go play somewhere. Because I'm going to bring up another player from the Heat and Celtics series later on about a certain player. When you come from a good system, when you come from a system that has a great coach, long tenured coach that, has won in the past, knows what it takes to win, has been to the finals, has been far in the playoffs, like these coaches, like you can't, like the whole conversation that we're having right now is just like these coaches, you hold on to these coaches. I know there's certain coaches that it's just like maybe 1 year, 2 years, like they're young or they're older, they're end of their career. We don't know. We've seen maybe the history that recently they haven't, gotten there. They've been like missing that one thing or like that one thing over the hump. They make it to the conference finals. They make it to like the second, third round. They're just like, they stop right there. And we see that, and people are like, oh, get rid of that coach. He'll never get past that point. But I could argue and be like, what other coach in the NBA, besides maybe like the top coaches or maybe like the young coaches that come in and they make it in the finals or they go pretty far in the East, like in the conference finals or go to the second round farther as a young coach, but what other coaches are doing the same thing as much? There's not a lot of coaches doing the same thing. There's not a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. We talk about young coaches, like what we're maybe talking about 1 or 2. Talk about what, like maybe like young coaches now. Like they don't work out in the NBA. Like they do maybe 1 time, 2 times, but like.
Well, last one I think was Udoka, but then obviously that situation unfolded and he ended up with the Rockets.
I would say the last successful young coach that I've seen, like a young coach that just came in first year, whatever, was maybe can't even say his name because it's like he had LeBron James on his team, but Tyronn Lue.
I know, yeah. I mean,
But people make jokes that LeBron was the coach on that team. LeBron was everything on that team, or whatever team LeBron's on, it's LeBron's team. It's not the coach's team, which
yeah.
I would disagree because when it came to the Heat, you are not playing that game with Eric Spoelstra. That's one thing I will say. You're not playing that game with Eric Spoelstra. 100% you're not. And they had their problems. They did.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I agree. I mean, I think it's the system you play in plays a lot of role in your success as a player. And I you see it all the time when like players get drafted and some players don't pan out. Sometimes I don't even think it's the player's fault. Sometimes they just didn't get drafted into the right situation. There's just guys who got drafted, like I think I named like a Jaleel Okafor or like well, the reason I say Jaleel Okafor is just because he's a guy who got drafted to Philly. I just don't know if he fit that system, and that obviously that falls on the player, but sometimes it's got to fall on the organization as well. And you're seeing on the flip side when players, I know who you want to talk about, Mike, so I'm gonna let you get into that when we get to it, but.
mhm.
You see players that come from really well-run organizations, and you're going to see now like Spoelstra and Pat Riley. They're going to get these players paid. Like they might not be able to retain all the players. But Strus, Vincent, like these guys are got contracts waiting for them, and that's because obviously Pat Riley. I know it's going to hurt you, Mike, when they're in different uniforms, when they're in Nick uniforms next year.
Hey,
But
whoa.
I'm just saying, but yeah. So you'll see it though. It's like the system you play in plays a huge role in your success as a player or failures as a player. I don't know if failures is the right word, but it's crazy because you see it all the time. And these guys on the Heat and the Nuggets too, like Bruce Brown. I mean, Michael Porter. Well, Michael Porter Jr. signed that pretty big contract not too long ago. But Aaron Gordon, like a borderline all-star, like these guys have money waiting for them because they bought into the system and the system bought into them.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. And I mean, it's working out. They swept the Lakers like it was nothing. I mean, it's like we wanted to talk about this, but there's not enough to talk about because it just looked like the Nuggets were just outmatching so much of the Lakers. Like the Lakers couldn't do anything. They went up by probably max 10, 15 points, and then they lost it all because they stayed in there. The Nuggets were like, oh, sure, you can go up by a little bit, but guess what? We're just going to keep inching back slowly and slowly, and then once you give us that lead, we're just going to take off.
Exactly.
And that's what happens. And what happens when you're well coached, you adjust well, you have a good game plan, you have great players, that complement that great player, and everyone just buys into the system because, I mean, I'm happy. I'm really, really happy the way this playoffs went. And I could say that and be like, oh, it's because it's my team. But, like, I will say this. I like that it's gone this way because we're seeing that it takes more than having 3-4 All-Stars on your team or 2-3 All-Stars on your team. It takes more than just having that. And I've always hated that. And I know I'm saying that as a Heat fan when I got LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh. Like, I understand that. And I could probably be the last person to say that. But I know before all that.
You did have role players that help too.
Yeah, role player. And we have had role players. I mean, people bring up Norris, Cole, Mario Chalmers, Mike Miller, Shane Battier. Like, guys like that helped us win finals. And, I can even go back 2006. We had old Alonzo Mourning, old Shaq that was being a role player to Dwayne Wade, who was pretty much practically starting his prime. But when you have it from head to toe in that organization, everybody's connected, everybody's on the same thing, you are more likely to go farther. You are more likely to win games. You are more like that's what I would say wholeheartedly because we're starting to see this now that like it's not that you maybe need the best players, you just need to have the best team. The best team, not the best players. You need to have the best team. Mm-hmm. And we see that now in the finals. We're seeing really two best teams. One was already the best team in the NBA, but still was getting doubted because they didn't have maybe all the All-Stars that they had, or they didn't even have they had one All-Star with Nikola Jokic, and then Jamal Murray was hurt majority of the season.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to mess around and say the Nuggets were just putting that man in incubation and was like, just come to the playoffs and kill it. Just wait, bro. Just hold on to your injury and just play in the playoffs. We'll wait. It's fine. We have the number one best player in the world. We'll be fine. And they did.
Yeah.
And they have such a great offense where like even when Jamal Murray comes out, oh my God, they're not that they're better, but like they still work just as good as with Jamal Murray because Nikola Jokic has been with them the whole season, played every game. Their game plan, the plays they run are just so amazing because Nikola. I could talk so much days. You know how much I love Nikola Jokic, man. I love a big man that could do everything, everything, and he does. And people doubt him for that. People look at him and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if he can really guard this guy." But then he's out playing AD. It's like
his defense. It's not like he's a liability. That's what I don't understand either. And he just elevates the play of everyone on his team, similar to LeBron throughout his career. Like it's crazy. And I know Jokic gets a lot of the credit as he should, but like everyone's been stepping up for them. So I think it's gonna be a fun matchup against Heat. It's like kind of like it's like I don't want to say they play similar, but they're both two teams that just have something to prove, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a dogfight for both teams.
It's really role players versus role players at this point.
Exactly. So that's why it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna see. Obviously we're going to see Jokic and Jimmy do their things, but we're going to see like some players really, really make a name for themselves because this is, basketball's biggest stage. And I actually said it before the playoffs on one of our stories. This might have been like after game 1 or 2 of the Heat versus Bucks series, but someone asked me, might have been Andre. I don't even know who asked me on the story, but who's a player I think will make a name for themselves this playoff series? Oh, this playoffs, like out of the entire playoffs. I said Gabe Vincent, and he is a player who, obviously outside of Caleb Martin and Jimmy Butler, but he stepped up huge in the Eastern Conference. And the one game he didn't play, they got destroyed. So, again, that could have been a fluke. I don't know. But Gabe Vincent, he's a huge part of that Heat team. And I know I'm so excited for the finals, but, like, I'm also excited to see, like, what happens this offseason, like, for the Heat. I know you're on the flip side, Mike. You don't want to see these guys go elsewhere, but maybe they stay. But it's going to be fun, dude. And this Nuggets Heat series is, as a basketball fan, there's no better matchup you probably could have got.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you say a lot of good things, and I like guys that make their names for themselves. I mean, I'm wearing a guy right now that made himself a name when he was on the Heat. Goran Dragic, the Dragon. I mean, people weren't paying attention to him. He was the backup to Steve Nash when he was on the Suns. Yeah. He came over to Miami and was making a name for himself. He helped us in the playoffs at times.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the Heat, we've had that tradition, but I want to say though, with the Nuggets though, going forward, I want to say one guy that will make a name for himself. Christian Braun will make a name for himself.
Yeah,
I like Christian.
Yeah, I saw him destroy West Virginia.
Yeah, Christian Braun will make a name for himself. He plays hard. He plays his role. He's very, very, very fundamental. Obvious, like I could see he's very fundamental, but like. He got some flash to him that I like, and he's a good player, and he's got some fire in him that I like to see sometimes when he plays with the Nuggets because he's a big guy. He's like 6'7", 6'8".
He's something like that, but he can shoot.
He can shoot. He can shoot, and he can dunk too.
But that's the thing I like about. That's the thing I like about him the most. Like, you saw him at Kansas. He led them to a national championship, averaged probably 20-plus points, whatever. But you see him on the Nuggets. It's not like he's doing anything crazy. Like, he's just doing what they're asking him to do. That's why this Nuggets team is as successful as they are. Because coming from college, where you're the guy, and then going to Denver, where you're the second or third guy off the bench, and you're really just out there to shoot it if you're open, but provide defense and just move the ball and do what you got to do. But that's why this Denver team is going to be successful. Has been successful this year because the guys have bought into that system, and you're seeing him with Brown, a guy who's the guy in college.
Yeah,
look at him now. He goes in there, he in there for 2, 4 or 5 minute stretches, and he just tries to make the right play, and that's what earns my respect.
He's another hustle guy for him. Like he's gonna go in there and hustle. Like he's just gonna go in there because to be honest, if you want, because that's the name of the game. If you want to make a name for yourself, you have to do what you're asked.
Yeah.
Like obviously coaches, scouts, like I know they get doubted and they're like, oh, they don't see the true talent, stuff like that. But like it's not that they're trying to get the talent. They're not trying to get like the best of players at times because they obviously have to think about what they already have. Like the Nuggets already had to think about what they already have. We don't need another ball dominant guy or another guy that could just, like it would probably be great maybe to see it like if there was another all-star superstar with Nikolai Jokic, like another MVP type of guy. But I feel like it would
Yeah.
ruin him because it'd be like you kind of have to share the ball more. Like other guys, role players wouldn't get their touches, and
Yeah.
it would feel incomplete. It would feel like it's not there. Like it's there. Like you have the star power, but it's still not, I guess, there.
Yeah.
And
And I think. No, what were you saying?
oh no, I was just gonna say like, and with that, like just with Christian Braun, I mean Bruce Brown is also a great name to throw out there. Um, I mean Thomas Bryant is on their bench, who's also another big role playing big man. I know he hasn't
Yeah.
been playing as much, but yeah, Christian Braun and Bruce Brown are definitely big examples that come in, and they're your hustle guys. And I mean Christian Braun is like another wing guy, another big body that you can throw at people
Yeah.
if need be, and he can guard pretty well. I believe Christian Braun was taking the assignment up when Aaron Gordon was going out. He was guarding Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think. Yeah.
you have
No.
guys
Yeah.
like that, and it
Yeah.
works out.
And I think we're gonna see. No disrespect to Denver as an organization at all, but Denver's never been a place that really like attracts big name free agents.
Yeah,
But I think you're gonna see like guys want to play with Jokic and guys want to play in that system from Mike Malone and Jamal Murray, like those guys. Like I think you're gonna see. You might not see like like I don't know LeBron James time with the Nuggets, but um, I think you're gonna see guys who want to go there, and I think this is great for the NBA that two small. Well, Miami's not really a small market, but two like less known teams in the NBA as opposed to Celtics, Lakers, like are in the finals because you don't have to go to a big market to be successful.
yeah,
And I'm just always sick of hearing about the Lakers, the Celtics, like the same, even sometimes the Knicks. But that's what I think it's great for the NBA that this is the matchup. I know the ratings might not back up that point, but
yeah,
it's gonna be just a great brand of basketball. I couldn't be more excited for it.
yeah. Same here. Same here. I'm very excited for the finals. I mean, obviously, yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna be, oh yeah, you are because you're the Heat fan. Your team made it, but I mean, not gonna lie, there was some thought that we weren't, but
Yeah,
that was because certain things happened. But going forward, this Nuggets team is very, very scary. Head to toe, they're literally the team. They are the team with the guy, with the coach, with everything, top to bottom.
yeah,
And
they got it all.
I think going forward, they're going to be perfectly fine. Keep building. I mean, their guys are really not even that much older. Like they have their veteran guys, but obviously they're older, and it's like okay. But like you look at everybody else on the team, they're really not that much old. Their team is
No.
not old, which
Mhm.
is scary because it's like this team, if they're making it to the finals now and had chances to make it to the finals before, and they're growing still, it's pretty scary.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's gonna
scary.
be fun to watch, man. But yeah, it's gonna be a great finals, man. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited for it.
Too, but I mean, on the other end of that, we have a very little sad story, little sadness, a little craziness because I mean, he just posted a cryptic video the other day. But Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James, man, what is gonna go on? What are they looking forward to this off season till next season?
Yeah,
What's gonna happen? Because I mean, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. I think personally, with everything connected, with everything that's happened, even though I said yes, you bring LeBron to the playoffs, you give LeBron to the playoffs, you have a really good chance. I might have to had to bite my words on that, bite my tongue on that because obviously he's a lot older and he's not probably doing as best as he was before. But I will say this: the fact that they made it to the Western Conference to the point to where they were at, I think they had a successful season to a degree.
I see what you're saying.
Now, with the players they have, like LeBron and AD, people expect more. People expect finals. People expect a ring. People expect winning. And that's fair, but I want to say, what team was the Lakers outperforming until the end of the season? What team was the Lakers outperforming? No one. They were at the
Mhm.
bottom of the West. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
and I even told Brian before this, they should probably blow up the team. But if they don't, or maybe get rid of a couple players and bring back a couple players, and maybe bring a couple more players that can accompany maybe AD and LeBron, I don't see it as a problem because they weren't performing good until the end. And that did build up that like I guess that momentum to keep winning in the playoffs. But at the same time, like
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the key is you see it. You got to fill LeBron around shooters. You got to get him shooters, right? And I think with Anthony Davis, you just don't know what you're going to get from him. You might get 40 and 15, you might get 15 and 11, or he might be out for 3 weeks. Like, you just don't know. And at this point in LeBron's career, you can't really afford for any uncertainties. And also, we don't know what's happening with LeBron. Me personally, I'd be very surprised if he's not back with the Lakers next year, or whether he's retired or a new team. Like, I don't see him being anywhere but the Lakers next season.
I think that's just
No, yeah. I mean, he just dropped 40 points in an elimination game. Like, he's still got something left in the tank. And I don't know if he's still trying to play with his
almost 30 points a game. Do you think he needs to leave now?
Exactly. And he could. I don't think he will get another ring especially next year. But I don't even know if that's his goal at this point. Like, I know he wants to win, but I know he also wants to play with his son.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to expect, but I'd be surprised.
Greatness.
You also got to remember, the Lakers, they don't have any draft picks for a little bit, for a little couple years. So it's like, where do you even go? And I think we're gonna see guys. I'll get into it later when we talk about our teams, but I think Reeves has got a contract waiting for him, and I hope the Knicks. I hope the Knicks go out and get him, because I think the Knicks are a shooting guard away from contending. But I'm going to save that for later. But if Reeves, I mean Lonnie Walker, I mean Schroeder might even get a bigger contract. Like, they got guys who are going to be getting paid.
That's funny that you brought that up, because I was thinking about the contract that he did sign. Remember when the Lakers were offering him a contract and Pop offered him that big old contract? Or it wasn't even. He took didn't he take a? Wait, I forgot. No, what's the other way? He took a pay cut.
Yeah. It was like he had an extension waiting for him before the season, because he was on his expiring deal, and he bet on himself because he thought he could make more money, and then he had a bad year and got paid. He went to the Boston and got paid a veterans minimum. Yeah. It was like 1 year, $6 million or something like that.
Yeah, and then he comes back to the Lakers, and I mean, he had a good season. I mean, he did pretty good. I know a lot of people are questioning certain players like AD, D'Angelo Russell, guys that kind of like.
I would not. Okay, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
This is aimed towards everybody, and obviously I'm a Westbrook fan. You see my OKC pennant. I'm a Knicks fan, but Westbrook's my guy. I mean, all year it was. I should say after the trade deadline, it was like, oh, they upgraded at the point guard position, which the Lakers got better from the trade deadline, no doubt. But, I mean, they were destroying Russ on social media everywhere about how much he struggled with the Lakers. And you saw D'Lo, he's like, D'Lo is so much better and all this stuff. D'Lo was awful in the playoffs. Awful. And this is directed towards everybody who disrespected Russ, who was saying how much D'Lo was better than him and all this ridiculous stuff I would read online. I mean, he needs an apology. I mean, okay, maybe not. He's not. He's never gonna get an apology. But I mean, Russ balled out in the series against the Suns. But I'm not trying to talk about that. But I mean, this shows right here. It's like Russ is gonna be one of those players who we look back and I don't think people appreciate it enough. And obviously, I'm a Russ fan, so it's a little biased. But I just had to go on my little rant there because everyone was telling me how much better the Lakers got. Which again, they did get better from the trade deadline. But the biggest part of that trade deadline was upgrading the point guard position and getting depth. And they upgraded, and look how far I got them. D'Lo was off. He literally got benched in Game 4. So, I mean, look, in hindsight, you know, the grass isn't always greener, and I'm always defend my boy Russ. And, yeah, so I just had to let that out, Mike. But that's my reaction to that. Like, D'Lo was awful, and I think they got him. I don't even think – I'm not 100% sure what his contract situation is, but I would not bring D'Lo back.
Yeah, I mean, going forward, how long – I mean, I like D'Lo. I like when he got traded and like what he was doing at first with the Lakers, but it was very, very disappointing how when it came to the playoffs, it was like.
What happened to Beasley though? Beasley didn't even play.
Beasley, I don't know. That was very interesting because I mean, how do you go from leading?
He had 7 threes in like his first game with the Lakers, and then like.
Yeah, and it just disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was weird. I'm not really sold on Darvin Ham as a coach. Like we saw it like. A couple game. I don't know what game it was. It might have been the Denver series or the Warrior series. It was Warrior series where he took LeBron out with 6 minutes left in like a 4-point game, and then LeBron subbed himself back in. Like he just does stuff. I'm not really bought into that. As a Knicks fan, I don't really care what the Lakers do. But I'm not a huge fan of Darvin Ham. Again, you got to give a guy more than 1 year, so he could definitely he definitely turned things around after the trade deadline. But he just made questionable decisions and. I think he gave D'Lo way too much time. I mean, it's the playoffs. If a guy's not playing well, you have to go in a different direction. He waited till game 4 when they were down 3-0 to really make a move and bench him. So I don't know. I'm not really sold on that. I think you just got to be able to make some decisions as a coach, and I just didn't like the decisions he made. But I mean, I'm happy the Lakers lost, so I guess it worked out.
Yeah. I mean, going forward, I mean, overall, I mean, I do have to question Darvin Ham's, I guess, the way
His
he
in-game adjustments, I
in-game
don't.
adjustments was probably not the best. And I mean, I give the benefit of the doubt for a lot of people, even it's bad how much I give the benefit of the doubt for a lot of people. But I mean, his first year, I mean, I know being crazy right now, my cat. But I mean, with what he had, a team that just it was so fresh. Like the team still was figuring out near the trade deadline, was still like, what do? We don't know what to do. And then the trade deadline happens, and you get all these new players, and you're like, okay, maybe we have something now. We upgrade at the point guard. We have another ring player like Jared Vanderbilt, that could really hustle for you so much. Like I would love bring Jared Vanderbilt to the Heat. He would love the Heat tradition. He loves that hustle, get the rebound. We would love to have him. I would love that.
Yeah, he didn't play a lot either though down the stretch. I mean, because he
He
can't
didn't,
shoot. I
I
guess
didn't like
maybe.
that because he in the Warriors thing he was locking down Curry.
He was but like I get it. You need guys who can shoot. You also need guys who can defend. So I didn't understand, to be honest with you.
Yeah, D'Angelo. I'm sorry, D'Angelo Russell can't guard. Cannot. He can't.
No,
Offensively,
not at all.
yeah, Dennis Schroeder can guard because I mean he was obviously the pinnacle of guarding Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
That didn't work out, but that's because Jamal Murray is Jamal Murray. But besides that, I mean, here's what I'll say for the Lakers in the offseason, to not even try to finish this quickly or anything. It's either you get rid of some of those pieces that did not be expected to what they were going to be, and get maybe someone that has the potential to be that, or maybe just another piece that can complement LeBron and AD better. Or, I need people to hear me out on this. I said this before the podcast. Blow up the team. Blow it up. Keep LeBron. Keep LeBron. Keep Schroeder. Keep Vanderbilt. Keep. Who am I thinking of? There's another name I'm thinking of. Keep.
Reeves?
That's hard, though. I would say keep Reeves. I would. He'd be my second guy to keep, but I'm really skeptical if he's going to stay if he gets a big bag. Because he just.
But if you're blowing up a team, I don't know if you could bring LeBron back. LeBron's not. I don't know if he's at that point in his career he'd want to go through.
But I'm not saying rebuild. I would just say more like. I would say if you trade
What's the
AD,
asking
right?
price? Yeah, but what's the asking price for AD? You
Yeah,
know, like
the asking
what would a
price for
team
AD would have to be like at least an. That's it.
because yes, they need draft picks, but if they're only trading for draft picks, they might as well trade LeBron too.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it's draft picks, I wouldn't even try to get draft picks for Anthony Davis. At that point, if you're trying to blow up a team and still win, I would at least say trade AD for either not a bunch of role players that could complement LeBron, but like better, like like if you trade Anthony Davis for like not another big man, but like just another player that can actually. I don't even know because it's so hard to say against with AD because the man doesn't show up. He doesn't
I
show up
know
when needed.
that's the thing.
That's
Like the
so
Lakers are in
hard.
that weird position now. What?
Yeah.
What you say?
No,
No, yeah,
it's just hard because I don't.
No, yeah.
I say they blow it up because of the fact that like they're in this point to where they don't know, and it's so bad to the point where they don't know because AD can't figure it out, and he's supposed to be the guy.
But I think didn't like no, I hear what you're saying. I do. But didn't they kind of already blow it up a little bit at the trade deadline? Like they really like
No,
put
I feel
AD
like
their
they did
entire
what I'm pretty much not blow it up, but I think they're pretty
I think
much.
they should do what they did at the trade deadline and do it
Yeah,
again.
they're doing what I said the first option. Like get the pieces that they think they can upgrade that isn't good. Like
Yeah.
they thought they upgraded with D'Angelo Russell at point guard. Obviously, we saw they didn't do that.
That's it. Yeah.
They
I mean they
upgraded
gotta bring
like
back
another
yeah.
wing player, big guy, Jared Vanderbilt. They upgrade on that. They should definitely keep him because he will
They didn't
definitely
even
keep.
play him. I don't know why they didn't play him though. It makes no sense to me.
Because see, that's
It looks
another thing. That's why it's like dang, it's not that it's not, or is it Darvin Ham? It's just more like
He
keep the
can't
players
shoot
that are
for his
consistent for
life.
me.
But yeah, I get yeah, I know, I hear what you're saying. I just don't know what the Lakers' options are because I think they have to, I think they should do whatever they can to keep Reeves. But Reeves is going to get a bag, and I hope it's from New
Yeah,
York. But
yeah,
Reeves is a guy I think they have to keep, and Hachimura too.
yeah. And the way he plays, Reeves plays so great that I just feel like and the way he plays, I think he'd be perfectly fine going to another team. Like even though he's like, oh, I
Oh
made
yeah,
it
he fit in
far,
for sure.
I could probably play better with LeBron. I can probably make it farther with LeBron. I know there's those possibilities in his head he's thinking of, but I'm like, dude, you're so good. I think you can go to another team, either be the second guy, or really, I mean, realistically, I think potentially he has a position to be like really a main ball dominant guy and facilitate
Okay.
an offense and be able to score. So it's like he could potentially possibly be a number one guy. But like even then, him being a number two guy, he's scary.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, number one guy, it's just because he's only played with LeBron, so obviously LeBron and AD. So I guess at best he's the third option on that team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. I think New York would be a great fit for him.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'm a Knicks fan. I think New York would be a great fit for a lot of people. But no, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think if you're the Lakers, I just don't know if you have a lot of options. Because if you trade AD, I think if you trade AD, unless if you get like a star in return, I think LeBron's out too. Then, like, I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird about their relationship though. When people talk about it, the relationship between LeBron and AD, like
Yeah.
it's weird. Like they're very connected, very cool. But then like when you see them in public and like the videos and pictures and shit,
Like when Anthony Davis didn't react to his breaking all-time scoring record.
and I know people are like, "Oh, it's not that deep." Like it's just like, well,
Everyone else there was having a great time.
it's like well,
Every
it's
other
probably one of the
player,
most like historic things that's ever
players
happened.
on the Thunder were like, yeah.
Yeah, like
No,
we don't know
I
if
get
it's ever going to
what you're
be
saying.
broken again. Like
Yeah, exactly.
LeBron could just be like, "I'm going to play till 45. I'm going to be Udonis Haslam at the end of the bench and average 2 points a season." He could literally just carry on that
Yeah,
record
exactly.
to the end of his.
That's why I can't see him retiring. But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I agree. I hear what you're saying about the Lakers. I just don't know. I think if they blow it up, they got to completely blow it up and restart.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Just because
fair. I get that.
because you get rid of AD, and because I just don't know what they would get in return from AD. Like what win now player, like maybe Cat, but like I don't think the Timberwolves would do that. Like I don't know what win now, like
Would
Dame, but
actually
I
be
don't think.
pretty good for LeBron because Cat loves to
Yeah,
shoot threes. So
exactly. And the Blazers aren't trading for. I don't. The Blazers aren't trading Dame for another like player who wants to win now.
yeah,
If they trade Dame, it's for the restart. So
I think Clay goes to
I hear what
LA.
you're saying.
Remember
What?
those stories when they said Clay was going to go to LA play with LeBron?
Yeah, I do.
It's ridiculous.
Maybe like yeah, maybe like a Paul George. Like I don't know what the. I don't know what like, I'm just like, there's not many options. Is what I'm saying here, and so if you're the Lakers, I think it's either restart, you try to bring the guys back because think of it like next year if they bring most of those role players back, that's at playoff time they'll have a year and a half playing together
True.
and already have some playoff experience, so it's not the worst thing in the world,
Yeah.
I guess. And I think Reeves is a big part though. I think they should do everything they can to bring Reeves back.
Yeah, I think they should too. I mean, I love Reeves. It's really hard because you see these guys go off, and they're bench players, and they're guys that are not bench players, but they're role players. They're not like the main guys. Austin Reeves wasn't starting every single game. He was on the bench for a little bit, so other teams are definitely being like, "Oh yeah, this guy's definitely going to be a starter on our team. We'll pay him
Yeah,
a bag. He'll get more minutes. He'll get more of the ball. He'll enjoy it more and stuff like that." So I wish the best for the Lakers, but at the same time, it's so iffy right now with the team. It's just like it's what happens when you have LeBron. I get sorry to say, but it's what happens when you have LeBron. It's like you're in a position where it's just like you could go all the way, but at the same time, you probably won't because
yeah,
you need to
exactly.
have the right pieces around LeBron. But yeah, so
Yeah, and also you gotta give credit to Rob Pelinka and the leaders over there and for the Lakers
especially from
organization.
last year when everyone was whining about them about say Rob
They were,
Pelinka was like probably the worst GM and
yeah,
all that stuff.
and they started 2-11 this year and finished a top four team in the league essentially. So they definitely know what they're doing. I think they'll figure it out. As a Knicks fan, I hope they don't. But um, good for them. I mean, they got to a point. If you were gonna tell me before the trade deadline, obviously, you tell me like January, December, January. the Lakers would be in the conference finals, nobody would have believed it. So, they made the moves they had to make take that next step. Can they do it again? I don't know. LeBron's getting older, and Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. Maybe you do move AD and get another win now player, but the options for that are very limited, and you just don't know where they're going to go with it. But it's going to be interesting. They got a lot of decisions to make this offseason, and hopefully they can add those pieces to take that next step. But LeBron's getting older, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, before all that, before we get into it, before we get into other things, what do you feel? What do you feel like is most likely going to happen with the Lakers?
I think they're going to try to re-sign the players. I think they'll move on from D'Lo. I think they're going to try to. I think they might move on from Vanderbilt. I think if they can't bring Vanderbilt back, they will. But I think Beasley's gone. So I think they're going to bring back the core of that group. I think they're going to re-sign Reeves. I'd be surprised if Reeves leaves, or because I think there was reports saying the Lakers are going to do whatever they can to sign Reeves back. So unless if like the Knicks or I don't know why I said the Knicks, but any team offers Reeves like a ridiculous amount of money where the Lakers just can't match it, I don't think he's leaving the Lakers. So I think they're going to be running it back with Hachimura, obviously LeBron and AD. I'd be surprised. I think the number one thing they got to do this offseason is get a point guard. Like get like nobody create. I think they should get tied. They should try to get Tyus Jones. Um, you see reports about Trae Young, which I don't really buy, but I think Tyus Jones is the name they should try to go for. But yeah, so I think they're gonna run it back with a similar core. They're gonna lose a couple of those guys for sure. Hachimura might be out of there too, but I think they're gonna run it back. I'd be surprised again if LeBron's not back, and if LeBron's back, that probably means AD's back. So I think you're looking at a very similar roster with a couple minor changes, and if they don't bring Reeves back, I think they're actually in trouble a little bit. But I think keys for the Lakers: get a point guard. I think they should trade for Tyus Jones. Um, but that's what I think, Michael. I know you might be a little bit, you might have a different view. So let me hear. What do you think the Lakers are going to be next season? Like, what are they going to do this offseason?
It's 50-50. It's either they get rid of a lot of players and they try to just really build around LeBron and AD, or they kind of keep the same team. It's really the only thing I think. Yeah. I think that's the only realistic thing right now is what I think. Obviously, my dream or my what if situation is really to blow up the team and just kind of build around LeBron. Maybe obviously sign back Austin Reeves and Vanderbilt, guys like that. But I think realistically, the best right now for them is maybe just to somehow either keep the same team and maybe just get rid of D'Lo, Malik Beasley, fill those positions in, or I keep the core and then get everybody else out. That's the only realistic thing I see for them, and I hope the best because obviously I root for LeBron, and obviously I'm one of the candidates that say LeBron's the GOAT. But I mean, with this, it does hurt a lot on his legacy. But I mean, moving forward, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for him because obviously I am in better positions than him now, so I could care less. Unfortunately, love you, LeBron, but should have stayed in Miami. Just kidding. But
Bronny gets drafted there.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah. Hopefully, Bronny gets drafted to Miami, and then he can come back to Miami. But we don't know. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, he has a good season with USC.
Yeah.
Maybe make him go to the Final Four. That'd be pretty cool. But
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. Other than that, the Lakers, man. I mean, they got to figure it out at this point. I mean, I'm not gonna say force it very fast because it's still. I'm not gonna say it's a new team, but it's like newly coached. You brought in new players halfway through the season. You really were at the bottom. Like, this is more general. I'm saying more. I'm like forgetting about the fact that they have LeBron AD. Like, this is what it was. This is a Lakers team that has good players on the team. They finished at the bottom of the West. They have a new coach. They had new players coming through halfway through the season. They barely made the play-in, and they went all the way to the Western Conference. If you explain another team rather than the Lakers, you think that's a pretty successful season. But then when you think it's the Lakers, you're like, we don't know. So that's really the problem, but I just hope they figure it out. Like I said, it's 50-50. Either they keep their core and then get everyone else out of there, or they keep LeBron and AD and they just kind of build around them. And that's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think there's going to be a big offseason for them. And, LeBron's got maybe 2-3 years left. Like, we don't know. Maybe, according to LeBron, he might have 0 years left. But, we'll see. But, again, I'd be surprised if he's not back in the Lakers uniform. And, They've got decisions to make. It's a big off season for them if they want to, get back to that championship back in 2020, like do the same thing. So it should be fun to watch, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. 100%. I just hope they can get to it because I mean, I will say this as a even as a Heat fan and everything, I've always loved LeBron. Watching him play and see how he adapts to all the situations he's been in. Obviously, coming to South Beach, then going back to Cleveland, and then going to play with the Lakers and all that stuff, and seeing how he's adjusted really, really good in those areas. But just, I guess it's more. I'm not going to blame it on the supporting cast, obviously, because I feel like that's a lot of big arguments with LeBron is that his supporting cast isn't good enough, and he's LeBron James. But we'll see how it goes. Other than that, because I mean, I think it's more. And I'm sorry to say this, and I'm sorry if anyone's a big Anthony Davis fan, but I think he messed up the bet worse than LeBron. Like I think LeBron actually tried because he's like, I'm 38 and I'm trying to reach Michael Jordan. I'm trying to be the GOAT. Like I'm trying to be that guy. And we're saying we said it now when we were talking about the Denver. You have to have a team rather than a bunch of stars. You have to have a team.
Yeah.
Have a team that's invested. You can't just have and LeBron knows that best. We know the first year when we got LeBron on the Heat, people were like, "Oh, they're gonna be great. They have LeBron, D Wade, Bosh." What happened? We lost to a team full of role players. I'm sorry, Dirk Nowitzki and a bunch of role players. And the guys are old. We lost to a bunch of guys that were older. Better. We lost vets and role players to the Mavericks. And then Dirk Nowitzki carried them when he needed to be, which was phenomenal. And I would argue Dirk Nowitzki is probably one of the greatest European players of all time. But yeah. And LeBron knows that, and I know LeBron knows. I feel that I know because I know LeBron. I'm not saying I know LeBron personally, but I know LeBron knows that since he played with us. He knows that when you're invested every way through, everyone has a role. Everyone deserves either the ball or deserves a minute or two in the game for whatever they have to do, whatever they're asked for. You win games, you win finals, you keep because there's been points where we were down, and when we had LeBron, we were down. The Spurs, we were supposed to lose. What happened? Ray Allen hits a 3 in the corner.
Yeah,
and we win the series. Or well, no, we win Game 6, we go to Game 7, and we win the series. If that doesn't happen, Spurs have another ring. Tim Duncan maybe has 6 rings now, and Tim Duncan's maybe now. Wait, does he have 6 or he has 5? I think he had 5. He'd have
5-1.
He would have 5, right? With that,
he is 5-1, so he would have 6.
Oh, so he would have 6. So maybe Tim Duncan would probably be the greatest player of all time.
I was telling you, bro. Like Tim Duncan's the most underappreciated. Like I don't get how he's not
Appreciated.
in people's top 7 of all time. If he's not in your top 7,
Greatest power forward of all. I don't know who's another power forward that has as much winning and as much success.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan.
Yeah, also revolutionized the game with the bank shot. Like I don't know. He's a guy who's never going to get respect. Like if he's not someone's, for me, I have him number 6 all time. But if like I hear people don't even have him in this top 10, I'm like, dude, get out of my face. Like that's crazy.
I don't know what to say to people when they don't have Tim Duncan in their top 10. Sorry.
Yeah.
What other power forward is better than Tim Duncan? Please let me know that has 5 championships. It has 5 championships. Has multiple All-Stars, has multiple winning seasons. I don't
know. I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you, Mike. And if he went 6-0 in the finals, he'd be in the same breath.
He had a chance. I mean, he did. He had a chance, and unfortunately, it didn't work out.
He'd be talked about very differently.
Because they came back the next year and whooped us.
Yep. Exactly. So I don't know, Mike. That's just something that I've always thought that. Like, I'm glad you actually said that because if he's hands down, in my opinion, maybe in 20 years now we'll have a different conversation. Maybe we'll be honest. I don't know. I'm not going to ahead of myself here, but he's easily the best power forward of all time, I think.
I mean, you could probably put argument for maybe like, so can you think of like, who else? I mean, maybe you put an argument with Dirk. Maybe, but it's like Dirk doesn't have 4 other championships.
I know, yeah.
He doesn't have as much. I don't think he has as much All-Stars as Tim. I don't think he has as much.
Dirk has an MVP, but yeah, I mean,
Dirk does. Oh, he does have it. Does Dirk have an MVP?
pretty sure he does. He also has. Well, he has a ring too, but I don't know.
And he has a
It's hard.
Finals MVP too. Well, I think Tim Duncan does too. I think he has a one or two. I think, or
Yeah.
Manu that won one. I think Manu
Uh,
Finals MVP.
did he? I can let me. I can
We can
double
double
check.
check that because I know that Spurs. Oh, and we're gonna talk about the Spurs here in the next couple of minutes because I'm about to bring up a player. So
But, yeah.
when we get to this other conversation, but that's one team I'll
Yeah.
never disrespect. Never. I'll never say anything bad. I know they weren't that good or anything. I will never say anything bad against
Oh
the
yeah.
San Antonio Spurs. I have the
Yeah. I mean,
utmost respect for the San Antonio Spurs.
yeah. I mean, so he's a 5-time champion, 15-time All NBA, 15-time All Defensive, Rookie of the Year, 3 times Finals MVP. He also has MVP.
He has 30 All NBA things, all defensive and All NBA. Are you crazy? Who has that?
Yeah, I
30
know.
of them things. Oh wow!
What's it called? Yeah, exactly, bro. It makes.
Who has
Yeah,
all? Who has 15 All NBAs and 15 All Defensive? That's crazy.
yeah, exactly. He's 3 Finals MVPs. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Resol's wrong. He didn't just win one. He won 3. See, I don't understand the underappreciation for Mr. Fundamental Tim Duncan. Like that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Oh gosh.
It's crazy.
And that was one of the first guys that gave LeBron his respect. If you look at that 2008? Was it 2008, 2007 when they went against the Spurs? Look, Tim Duncan
No,
went up to LeBron and said, "This is your league. This is
I
your
think it was
league. This is you."
2009.
What was it?
Because it wasn't 2008 and 2010 the Lakers Celtics.
Oh yeah, never mind. Was it 2004, 2005? Oh, I'm crazy. It was LeBron's like second or third. It was like his third year.
Yeah.
It was LeBron's third year. He went to the finals, which is
Crazy.
a little bit unheard of, but especially for his player of caliber. But we're not going to get into that. But the thing that I was trying to say was, even then, in his third year in his career, a guy named Tim Duncan, probably at that point, argued to be one of the greatest power forwards, one of the greatest players, top 10 greatest players, probably at that point, because he still was already successful before then, was telling LeBron, "You're the guy of this league. You're the best player, man." He messed around and said, "Thank you for letting us win this finals, but you're the guy." That's what Tim Duncan was saying to LeBron. So
it's crazy.
what? So that's 3 years in the NBA. He's 18, 20. So he joined at 18. So he's 2021. Imagine being 2021 being told by Tim Duncan, "You're the guy of the league." In the final. After the fact.
For sure. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's crazy. I don't get how you don't give. In general, people don't give Tim Duncan his flowers, man. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what else that man could have done. So,
yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we bring him up because we went from Lakers to him. But I mean, even then, like I said, even with the connection of LeBron, that's what happens. Because even though, yes, you could say Tim Duncan's one of the greatest guys of all time, but was Tim Duncan always the scoring guy on the Spurs? No, he wasn't.
But he did everything else, though.
Yeah, he had everything else. He was guarding his guy. He was getting man could. And what's crazy is he could pass too. Maybe wasn't the most flashy passer, but they played offense.
Obviously, people are gonna say this. I know what people are gonna say stuff about. He played with Tony Parker, David Robinson, Ginobili, a bunch of Kawhi Leonard, a bunch of great players. I mean, it's just a silly argument. You need good teammates.
They played with him. What I would argue, they played with him.
Also, you need good players to win. That's what I never It's different when you're talking about the KD Warriors or when Kevin Durant joins the Suns, whatever. But
you need a team. This isn't a logo of Jimmy Butler. This isn't Jimmy Butler. This doesn't say Jimmy Butler.
Exactly. So I don't understand. You need teammates to win. It's that simple. So Tim Duncan's a guy who's always going to get my respect, and
it's so funny you said people bring up Manu. Manu took a year or two off the NBA to play overseas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry if you're gonna call him. Oh, he was helping Tim Duncan. No, he wasn't. He was rather go play over in the Euro League and kill it over there, and then he came. Then he was okay. I go to the NBA and kill it there.
Makes no sense.
So
I don't get it.
It's odd. I call it the odd disrespectful. I call it odd disrespect when it comes to players like that. You have so many players like that maybe either they're like Tim Duncan where they won a bunch of rings or won a bunch of awards that they deserve their respect. Or there's a bunch of players that like maybe they didn't win those awards or maybe didn't get to the finals, but they were so good that it was just like
Yeah.
you can't knock what they did. You can't
Yeah.
knock
Exactly.
what they were
I
able to
think.
do.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this on the pod now, but Mike, I think we're gonna have to get like an all-time episode coming this summer.
Oh yeah.
Given the people are top rankings all time, it's gonna get. I know where it will get controversial, Mike, but I mean, I think we just got to. That would be something cool for the fans, of
We
course.
all
But
know
I'm
where
glad
that
we're giving Tim Duncan
controversial
his
spot
respect.
is.
What?
We all know where that controversial spot is. It's
Yeah. Hey, real ones know, man. Real ones know.
that one spot.
Might as well just have a whole episode just for the number one.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, no, not to go off topic, but yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad we're giving Tim Duncan his respect. I mean, he's been a guy who, for some reason, I mean, yes, a lot of people say he's the best power forward of all time, so he does get, the flowers he deserves. But like, still, like, I just think if he went 6-0 in the finals, and it's a what if, can't buy into the what if, people be talking about him a lot differently. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy how people still don't talk about him enough.
You
But he's a
you
guy who
think if
really
he won that
revolutionized the
6 ring,
game.
you think people still give him the recognition as the GOAT? I don't think they would.
Tim Duncan?
I don't think people would still.
No, they wouldn't say he's the GOAT, but no, he would not be the GOAT. I shouldn't say that, but I think he'd easily be top 5 player all time.
I mean, 6 rings.
6-0. He has 3 Finals MVP. If that's 4 Finals MVPs,
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
MVP. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know what he hasn't done.
I don't either because he did it on both ends. He was on All NBA 15 times and All Defensive Team 15 times. It's crazy. I don't know any other player that's doing that. I don't. Maybe the only player that's closest right now would probably be like Kawhi Leonard, maybe.
For what?
Like guys that have like that much of All NBA and All Defensive Team. That means you're doing
I'd
it on
say
both
Giannis,
ends.
maybe.
Giannis maybe now, but like his is very low right now. He probably has 3 All NBA, 4 or 5 All NBAs, and maybe like 2, 3 All Defensive. Tim Duncan has 15 each.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
He still has to play 12, 13 more seasons to get that. Giannis. That's what's crazy. So
yeah, I'm glad we talked about that
but
though. For sure.
overall, I think the thing that we're talking about with Tim Duncan, with the Lakers, is just being invested and being able to just like not just keep going, but like how can I say this? Just I don't know. For LeBron at this point, it's more he needs to be able to not just adjust, but be able to just take what's given to him and try to like hopefully get the right type of guys for whatever it is. But right now for LeBron, he needs to settle in a role where it's like he does what he does, but then like he can also do other things maybe to help the team in little things is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to Tim, the reason why we talk about Tim Duncan and all that stuff, we talk about a guy that and this is what we just said. Even if he won 6 rings, he still wouldn't even be talked about as a GOAT because he still didn't even put like his presence. Like obviously,
because people argue he only averaged I think like 19 and 10 throughout his career,
19 and 10. So people would be like, "Oh, he's not the GOAT because he didn't average 30. He didn't."
he was also
but it's
putting
like,
up double doubles before people like really did like it. People look at triple. Obviously, my boy Russ changed that narrative too, but now people see double doubles and triple doubles and aren't as impressed. Which I get, the game's changing, so rightfully so, I get it. But he was putting up double doubles when it wasn't that common, and he's just not going to get the respect he deserves because you're thinking about the present where the games has changed so much, and you see like random guys not random, but just guys who don't play a lot, but then they get one night where they play a lot and they give you 15 and 10. That's just how the game is now. It's faster paced, more possessions, and that's why I'm glad we put respect on Tim Duncan's name, and he's an all time great and should get the correct recognition for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just moving forward on, I just hope the best for the Lakers and they can keep moving on with everything going on, I guess. And I hope the best for LeBron. I mean 50-50, I guess we're both on the same thing of just either you build around AD and LeBron or you kind of just you keep your main core, and then you build around everybody else after that. So we'll see what they go on for that. But going on to the other side from the Western Conference, we get to the long, probably something that should have not went this long, is what I would argue. But at the same time, I think I'm not surprised. Not that I'm surprised how it went, but the game it went to, I'm not surprised because we kind of did all think that, especially if the Heat were going to win before the series. People thought the Heat would win. The only way the Heat would win would go to Game 7. But here we are. The Heat are going to the NBA Finals against the Nuggets, beating the Boston Celtics in a Game 7 after leading 3-0 against the Boston Celtics. Brian, I'm going to let you take this right now because I know everyone's probably going to be waiting for what I got to say, and I'm going to say everything. Yeah. I'm going to say everything because it was very emotional, very everything on Monday for me. Really, the whole series was you even know I was texting you every minute, every quarter, every second. I was telling you how I felt, what was needing to happen, what was going like. You know how this was meant for me because I'm such a diehard fan that even when we were in the play, I was still there's something there, we can make it. Even though we got to go up against the Bucks, we got to go up against the Knicks, we got to go up against the Celtics. We may be mismatched, but we are the Heat. We have been here before. We have been doubted again. Game 7, I'm not going to lie to you, Brian, before you go off, I was 100%. I'm not going to lie. I was at least 90% sure that we were going to win that game because we were back on the end where people were like, you're not going to win this game. You guys are going to lose. You guys have no chance. The statistics were right. The only way you guys win was a 3% chance before. Guess what? We won. We went back to Boston and give them the big bird. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Go ahead.
What's it called? No, yeah. I mean, there's not even much to say, to be honest with you, Mike. But, I mean, the Heat, it's kind of like Jimmy wanted this to happen, it feels like. I mean, up 3-0, and obviously the Celtics by themselves take a 3-0 lead themselves, go win 3 in a row themselves. And going into Game 7, I mean, I did say, you can ask Andre, you can ask my boy Alex, I did have the Heat winning in Game 7. Yeah, but I agree with what you're saying. It's just something about, the Heat not only play well, but when backs against the wall, that's when they show up. And honestly, it just looked like they were ready for that. They were ready for that since the tip, and Boston just wasn't. Jaylen Brown was awful this year, horrendous. Do not pay that man $65 million a year. Do not do that if you're the Boston Celtics. That's what I think. The turnovers. I mean, obviously Tatum, that injury maybe affected the game, but I mean it's part of basketball. It happens. Mm-hmm. But prayers for him. I hope everything's well for him. But I think the whole entire. I want to talk about the Heat, but a lot of people would be like, "Is Jaylen Brown better than Jason Tatum?" I never bought that for a second. I always thought Jason Tatum was better. I mean, Tatum didn't have the greatest of series on his part, but I was just looking at it I think there's a difference between being a really, really good player and a great player, and I think that's going to be the difference between Jaylen Brown and Tatum. Tatum's going to have that aspect of him that makes him a great player, and I think Jaylen Brown's always going to be a really, really good player, just not a great player. Because Game 7, your season's on the line. You come back from 3-0 for this moment, and your best player goes down. Brown had to step up, and he did the complete opposite. So as a Celtics fan, I mean, you got to be happy your team fought back, but at the end of the day, you lost, and that's all it really comes down to. And then on the flip side, the Heat. I mean, wow, they had everything go their way Game 7. I mean, they just out-hustled the Celtics. They outshot the Celtics. They played smarter, and Jimmy Butler deserves his recognition. But I know you're going to get into it, Mike. But I'll say it quickly: the undrafted players. I know we're going to hear that word a lot. But you look at the Heat, Caleb Martin, all those guys, man. Caleb Martin, we got to talk about him for a second. I remember seeing him play in Nevada. He was a dog in college. Obviously, he was undrafted, signed with the Hornets. The Hornets waived him. Ended up with the Heat. It worked out well. I mean, I think, what was the game Jimmy Butler did not play well? It might have been Game 5 or 6. And Caleb Martin, obviously they lost, but kept him in that game. And without Caleb Martin, they are not playing tomorrow night. And he had a great series. I'm happy for him. Lowry, I mean, we didn't see a lot of love. Bam, I've said this before. When Bam's aggressive, Bam is one of the best bigs in the league. I believe that. When he's not aggressive, he reminds me a lot of Anthony Davis.
Back for that comment. I love you, but
Just keep
Love you too,
going.
baby.
Keep going.
But,
Keep going.
yeah, no, but I was just saying, but he reminds me of Anthony Davis. Like when he's aggressive, he's insane, unstoppable. When he's not aggressive, it's like you even notice he's out there. For the Heat to win the series against Denver, they need him to be that guy along with Jimmy. But obviously, Max Strus is another name that played very well. And Gabe Vincent, I said it before we got on, when he didn't play, the Heat looked like a completely different team. So he's got a contract waiting for him too, Mike. So I'll finish it off by saying I think the Heat. I don't know if I love the matchup with Denver, but I mean, the Heat have shown they can beat anybody. I mean, nobody liked them playing against the Bucks. I mean, the Knicks was probably the one series where most people picked them to win. And then you look at the Boston series where they were up 3-0, and then the Heat come back. I think that's the signs of a great team, though. You know, you're up 3-0. I'm not saying losing 3 in a row is the signs of a great team, but they could have just like coming back from that loss where Derek White hits that game-winning shot. That's tough, and they did it. You could tell like Jim. You saw Jimmy in the press conferences. We're going to stay positive. I mean, at that point, it's over with. You got to focus about the next game, and that's what they did. And shout out to Coach Spoelstra. I've said it before, Mike. I always sound like a broken record. Outside of like Popovich, just because of what Popovich has accomplished, he's the best coach in basketball. I don't think there's any debate for that. His in-game adjustments, and he just gets his players ready to play. So, Mike, I'll toss it to you, Mike. Let you go on your little Heat rant, rightfully so. But I mean, you got to be happy with your team played, and it's gonna be a fun series, Mike. And this, as a basketball fan, as I said before, this is the perfect matchup for basketball fans, and I'm happy for you, Mike. I'm happy that your team made it this far. Obviously, I wish it was the Knicks, but I would not mind seeing Jimmy Butler get a ring. So, Mike, again, I just want to say congratulations, man. Good luck. I know it's gonna be a stressful next couple weeks for you, but anything's possible. They've beaten the teams that they've beaten so far. I mean, no one thought they'd beating the Bucks. No reason they can't beat the Nuggets. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it won't happen, but you got to be happy, Mike. Got to be happy where your team's at. But I know your job's not finished.
I think want to say everyone is looking at me right now, and you're looking at me where I'm sitting. I would like to explain where I'm sitting right now, because this is the exact very spot. I know I wanted to be somewhere. I know I maybe, but I was in the spot where I wanted to be. I'm home in my house watching Game 7. I have never let out a scream or a yell louder than I did when that last horn went off, and I probably haven't cried as hard as I had since then for a little bit. But I cried, man. I cried so much about us winning this Game 7 and us going to the finals. And a lot of people are going to be like, that's over exaggerating. Like, what the heck? This is just basketball. It's a game. But, like, we have gone through so much. I mean, even myself, I have gone through so much. But I'm not going to talk about my personal life because obviously we're talking about basketball. But this was one of the biggest joys I've ever had in my life, that like a team like this, our team right now, making it all the way to the NBA Finals has meant so much to me and has been just a joy watching. Has been obviously a stress because it's like we do so good and it's like you expect more. But at the same time, I'm not going to lie to you, Brian. I'm not going to lie to everyone else. Even when we were losing games or when we kind of did lose that 3-0 lead against the Celtics, I still knew we had a chance because I know when the Heat, this is what happens. This is what happens when you get, this represents almost the people in Miami, people of everything, like, and Eric's supposed to talk about this, like the Heat represent a lot of just real life stuff, but like we've been doubted. Ever since LeBron left, we've been doubted. We are the one team that people are like, when you think about us, you're like, yeah, their years were over. They had LeBron, it's done. They're not going to win. I want to ask now to those people, how many times has that team that you talked about without LeBron has gone to the finals? 2 times. 2 times. Almost 3. 2 times now. We have been to the finals since. Without LeBron. And it's been absolutely amazing. But talking about this current series, we came out swinging for not even the fences. We came out swinging for the buildings beyond the ballpark. We were swinging everything, and I loved it because everybody was on the same page every game. Even when we were getting beat, it was like we were trying, and we maybe missed some mishaps, and certain players weren't playing well. And I mean, you even brought up Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent was out the game that we got smacked. That probably brings in a better chance. That brings in another defensive player that can guard and also score. But right now, I'm thinking about so much to say, and I have a lot to say. I'm going to keep going, but this right here is like I don't even know where to start. And I think I'm just going to start with the easiest, and that's going to be Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler did what Jimmy Butler was supposed to do, and that wasn't just with scoring. People need to stop focusing on the scoring part of Jimmy Butler, the scoring part of the Heat, because what people don't know is we were last, dead last in points per game in the regular season. Why do you expect us to be the number one? We're not a number one offensive team. We're not. We don't have the players, unfortunately, but it still works out. This goes on the phrase that I've always loved this phrase, defense wins championships. And I know that maybe connects more with football or anything, but we're showing it here right now. We are showing it and I'm sorry to say this, Dre, I love you, my man, shout out. But we exposed Jaylen Brown. We slightly expose Jason Tatum when it comes to clutch time, because if you look at that man's turnover ratio when it comes to the fourth quarter in the last 5 minutes, Jason Tatum turns over the ball too much, and it's ridiculous. And you see Jaylen Brown, the man, I'm sorry, you are in the NBA. Jaylen Brown, I think you're great, and I've even argued, Jaylen Brown, come down to Miami. We love the way you play. You can score lights out. Come to us, because you're also a good defensive player and can rebound the ball. Come play for us. You can do everything. We have guys that can do a little bit of everything, probably just more on the defensive end, because we preface on defense. We threw man-to-man. We threw zone at him. And that zone that we threw at him when Haywood Highsmith was on top of that, shout out to Willie Jesuit, shout out to West Virginia. Proud Mountaineer right now for West Virginia on that. But Haywood Highsmith, when he was on top of that 1-3-1 zone or that 1-2-2, oh my gosh, that man deserves a big role next year for the Heat, or a big role on the team. Haywood Highsmith can guard. If y'all saw him the way he was guarding Jason Tatum, he can guard. I haven't seen a lot of players like that have the defensive fundamentals to guard a player. He was able to steal the ball when Jason Tatum would do his little size up, his little between the legs. I'm going to step back. I'm going to go between my legs and step back. No, Haywood Highsmith was like, I'm on that. You're not scoring on me. I'm sorry, bud. Go somewhere else. You're not scoring on me. But I want to talk, since I did talk about Jimmy Butler, I will also take out the other fact of another player that everyone was talking about, Bam Adebayo. And I know, Brian, you went into this and you talked about how Bam is arguably probably maybe third, fourth best big man in the league, probably after Joel Embiid. Probably, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know you did give he's probably one of the best big men in the league when
he's aggressive.
he's aggressive and everything. And he was. And it was. We saw that. We saw that happen early in games, and he kind of did take a step back. And I know people are like, oh, well, he wasn't aggressive offensively, and I said this not even a couple minutes ago. Stop when it comes to Miami Heat, and I know it hurts us, and I know at times it's where it hurts, because I know the game is like this. This is all about scoring. But I don't know if you heard this, Brian. We were last. Points per game, we were last in the regular season.
And 3-point shooting too, right?
No, not 3-point. I think 3-point shooting we were 5.
You guys were like on the bottom half of 3-point percentage.
Yeah, I think bottom half. But even still, because last year I know we weren't like high in points per games, but at least we were in the middle of the pack. And then we were like last year we were top 3-point percentage. I think we were number 1 and number 2 as a team because of Duncan Robinson and the way we did our handoffs and everything with Duncan and Tyler. But why you see the players that we have. I do not like it that people keep thinking, oh, like you guys should be better offensively. Look what we do on the defensive end. What team is doing that on the defensive end in a playoff game, throwing mans and zones? Mm-hmm. You know what NBA players have to say about zones? They say that's the easiest thing to do. Even coaches in high school say if they start playing zone, they don't want to keep playing man because they can't guard. What happened? what happened? The Celtics could have scored. They barely scored. Like I could say when they scored, maybe the game that they destroyed us, they scored.
Yeah, they look phased out. Like they were also missing open looks. Like they just didn't look like they could handle it.
Oh yeah, no, they. I mean, I feel like they couldn't because I mean we had the right players. I mean, we went to a small lineup in Game 7 where Jimmy Butler was our biggest guy, or Haywood Smith was our big guy because he was 6'7", 6'8". Like we took Bam out. We didn't play Zeller. We didn't play. Obviously, we didn't play Yurtseven. We didn't play Kevin Love near the end of the season or near the end of.
Why didn't Kevin Love play though? I was confused. Why did Kevin Love?
Why did he play or why didn't he play?
How come like down the stretch of the series he didn't really play? Because the Knicks series he played a lot.
So I know Game 3 or Game 4 he kind of went down with an injury.
Oh yeah, on the jump shot. Yeah.
Jump shot, which was he was fine with that because he did play after that. But I think it's just I think it's just more of the idea that their second big man that came off the bench was Robert Williams, and I don't think Kevin Love could really.
Yeah, that matchup, I see it.
Maybe young Kevin Love, you know what I mean? Maybe young Kevin Love could probably keep up with
I see.
Robert Williams. But
I think, I was gonna say I think more of the reason he played more in the Knicks series is probably because he's a body. He could contain Randall, and the Heat. I mean, with the Celtics, like not that Robert Williams is an insane offensive player, but just his length, it would be a tough matchup.
It's a tough matchup, and I think Robert Williams. I mean, he can guard from the 3-point line in, really, because he was guarding Jimmy Butler at the end, and like guarding him at the 3-point line, and Jimmy Butler would drive, and he would just block it. So, which annoyed me, but I got to give props to the Time Lord, to Robert Williams. The man's a beast. Shout out to Dre, man. Robert Williams, man. I hope you guys keep that dude's a beast. I like Robert Williams, and I really thought he would play more than Al Horford, but that didn't.
Well, Game 7, he had like a really bad stomach virus, so he was in and out. Like he was like thrown up during the game. Apparently,
it is pretty.
That's why he only played.
Is that? I mean, he is pretty.
That's why he only played 13 minutes.
Yeah, I would say he's like weird. He's oddly injury prone. It's weird with Robert Williams. I mean, oddly injury prone.
Yeah, that was just tough. I mean, the Celtics with the Tatum injury in Game 7, with Robert Williams being sick, like it was just tough for them for sure. And then Jaylen Brown having the horrific game he had.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Mike. Like, what do you think of not to change the conversation to Boston, but like, do you re-sign Jaylen Brown to that massive deal? I think it's a huge mistake if the Celtics signed a $260 million contract. I think it's a terrible idea.
It's hard. It's really, really hard. And I want to say we're the fault to that because
you expose him.
It's not that we expose. Yeah, you could say that, and I would also say we did do that. It's just if you look about, because remember I did this with the Lakers. You look about the broadness, you look about the generalness of the Celtics, right? You think of the fact that they were the number one team and everything, and you got beat by an AC team. You got beat by a team that lost their first game in the play-in, had to work their way through. We beat the number one team in the East. Then we beat another team that was the top 5 team in the East. Your Knicks. Then we play the number 2 in the East. We haven't had an easy. We have not.
No, 100%. It's not like you guys have been playing cupcakes. So you guys obviously it helped with the injuries, obviously with the Bucks series, but when Giannis came back and you guys still took care of business. No, for sure.
We played the Celtics when they were 100%. Really, yeah, we kind of did. Yeah. And they went down 3-0 against us.
But if you're Boston, like, what do you do? I would probably sign and trade. I don't think you can sign the $260 million.
I think this is one of those positions where it's like, I think you do get rid of the other star guy, unfortunately. No. Wait. I think you do get rid of Brown.
Oh, Brown, okay.
I think they do, and they maybe get another. I mean, really,
if they could get Dame, or maybe
does Dame, because we see how Jaylen Brown plays, and Jaylen Brown is he gets the ball and he's gonna score, right? We see that. and that's fine, and it works out. They were number 2, number 1. They were number 2 in the East. They were number 1 in like scoring. They were both like the best duo since like Scotty and Michael Jordan and all that stuff. Like they're getting all those comparisons and stuff like that, and it's great. But we saw that in longevity wise, and when it comes to pressure, when it comes to the times where you're needed, I'm sorry, Dre. Both of them did not do good when they were needed. Both of them.
100%.
I am sorry to say that. Like
why
when they whip you, they're not even scoring the most points. Like they're probably scoring 25, 23, and then you got
they had that one game they won. Yeah, they had like 4 guys scored 20 plus.
20 plus. So it's like, do they need Jaylen Brown? They maybe just need one of them. And I know people are probably going to be like, just keep Jason Tatum and get rid of Brown. But I would kind of argue, I think you're kind of fine with either two. And I know probably people won't agree. And I'm looking at you, and it sounds like you don't look like.
I'm just thinking because if I'm Boston, I'm honestly doing anything I can to get Dame. And I think this is what you got to do. You got to sit down with Tatum and be like, Jason, do you want an MVP or do you want a championship? Because if you want a championship, we can get you that piece. I think, look, I don't know what the asking price is for Dame. I can't imagine it's just Jaylen Brown. They'd have to throw in a couple picks, maybe throw in Brogdon, a couple younger pieces, maybe Rob. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you're the Celtics, like, I think you make a move for Dame. And as you said, when the Celtics were down in the clutch, when they needed a bucket in the fourth quarter, did their star players show up? Did Jason Tatum show up? No.
Nope.
Who is arguably the clutchest player in the NBA? Damian Lillard. It's a perfect fit.
Yeah, sure.
But you have to tell Tatum, you might not be the guy all the time. And I think if any fan knows, the last shot's going to Damian Lillard. And also, if Damian Lillard's off, then you have Jason Tatum.
A little bit. Here's my thing. Now, sorry to cut you off. Here's my argument in that. I think that hurts Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum's pride, though, when it comes to that, because I know they want that ball.
Well, Jaylen Brown wouldn't be on the team, though. They trade.
That's true. But I'm saying like either, because you know how I made the craziness of saying maybe just get rid of them because they both.
Yeah, but then they would. Yeah, no. But if you're Portland, you better be like, I'm getting Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
But no, I hear what you're saying, but I think that's why you have that talk with Tatum. Like, you got to understand, Damian Lillard's going to be the guy in the fourth because he's had his chances to prove that he could be the guy in the fourth, and he just has. There was a couple games he had 0 shots in the fourth. Like, that's unacceptable from your best player. So I think
when he had turnovers and points.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if Jason Tatum wants to complain about not getting the ball in the fourth, show him game 1, 2, and 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals from 2023. Show him that because he had his opportunity to be the guy, and you could just tell he
didn't do jack anything.
I think you can win a championship. I think you can win a championship with Tatum being your guy, but if you want to win multiple championships, you get Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
And again, the only thing is you're gonna have to give up depth, and we talked about that conversation. So you got I don't know what you might have to just give up picks and keep that depth if you want to win now, because you saw the Lakers did it. They did a win now, and they're kind of suffering from it with having no picks. But Jason Tatum's pretty young; he's like 26, so he has time, and he has time left. So
he has about
I don't know how you feel about that, Mike.
In his main prime, because I mean a lot of people say 26 to 30 is your main prime in the NBA. You're old enough to be you're wise and you know where to take your shots, where to get to your spots, all right, I've played against this guy for several years, he's gonna get to this spot, he's gonna go here, he's gonna go there. You're in that age where it's you should know, obviously, because when you're younger, you just joined the league, even though you're a superstar, you're there's still certain things that you maybe don't even know. There's probably the littlest of things. And I feel like we cover that really, really well on the Heat because we do the little things. We do everything of the little things. We die for everything. We go after every rebound, even though I know there was multiple games where the Celtics did out-rebound us even on the offensive end or even in the regular just total rebound game. But if there was a stat for 50-50 balls, we destroyed the Celtics on that one.
And charges.
And I think those are great. I love the way we've adapted to setting more charges.
It's also moving. You guys move the ball too.
Oh, I know, and it's crazy because I didn't think we always used to move the ball like that years ago. But
because I didn't understand. Yeah, like I didn't understand in the Knicks series, like how every possession it seemed like Max Strus or Gabe Vincent got an open three, but it's like clearly you got it's probably I don't even think it's our defense as much as it's just their offense. That's the way they play. They make the extra pass, and that's why Jimmy. Um, I was actually thinking about this the other day. Is Jimmy a first like? Is Jimmy going to be a Hall of Famer?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think he
I don't
should be. I think he should be.
think he should be. I mean, at this
Obviously,
point,
having a championship helps, but
oh yeah, if
um,
he wins a championship, I'm saying 100%. 100%.
yeah. Nah, I just wonder. I was just thinking that was on the back of my head. Like, does he have the accomplishments? I don't know, but
I don't
from
know.
the eye test, of just watching basketball, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Watching basketball, yeah, watching him play. I mean, even though like I know a lot of the recent games, like game probably after game 3, after we were up 3-0, after that, he started becoming a little bit of like a your favorite type of players, volume shooters, where he was shooting like 20 shots and like 20
Yeah,
points.
yeah, yeah.
And like I know why he was doing that because it was like I said, and this is and here's the problem though, and I don't and here's the problem with the Celtics, and I think Charles Barkley, shout out to the TNT group inside the NBA, Charles Barkley talked about this a lot. The Celtics, and this is probably why at the end it stunk for them because they had to have so much pressure. The Celtics play hero ball. They don't play an offense. I'm sorry, they do not run an offense. They don't. They give it to Jason Tatum, they give it to Brown, and they go operate and go. There you go. Do whatever you can to score the ball.
Yeah.
And do they
That's
do
not
a
gonna
good
work.
job of that? Yes, they do a very good job of that. And we tell, but not when it gets to this point. You can't do that in the playoffs. You can't just be like operate. Like honestly, you can't.
Yeah, no, I
You
agree.
can't. You have to be fundamentally sound. You have to play. You have to play to your game. You cannot because then people will
And yeah,
put you out of your role, out of
yeah,
your like.
exactly. But that's why it didn't work in the fourth quarter because it just never worked. That just giving Jason like this is the thing though. Like if a guy's cooking, like give him the ball and get out of the way. But your game plan just can't be to roll the ball out there and let him like
And
let
just let
you
them do
play
whatever.
defense.
Like it won't work
And that's
out.
what they did. But that's why Miami and Denver are in the finals right now.
Because every other team, like I'm not gonna say every other team that they played. I mean, but like the Lakers had the same thing where they couldn't like they didn't know when LeBron and AD weren't scoring, Ross and Reeves weren't scoring. Like they were like, I guess shoot this shot when you're open. Shoot this like I guess feel this shot out. I don't like you can't do that in it. Like
Can't do it.
in a conference finals game, you think you're gonna depend on that? That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you said it with the Heat, we moved the ball well. Like we didn't care who you were, we didn't care what your name was. As long as you had this on your jersey, you're taking a shot. You're
Yeah.
taking a shot. If you're wide open,
Yeah.
take it. And we moved the ball beautifully, beautifully. Because guess who was always looking pretty in the corner? The man that arguably could have been that conference finals MVP. And I'm talking about C. Mart. Not K. Mart, C. Mart. Caleb Martin, my guy from University of Nevada, Reno. My guy has stepped up so big, and I talked about him early in the season. I said, watch out for Caleb Martin. He's an X Factor. I know he's not crazy, but I saw him at Reno. I know what kind of potential he has when he gets the ball and he's free. I know he kind of made some craziness when we were going to the Celtics where he kind of turned over the ball and stuff like that. But this guy hasn't been this far in the playoffs before. But look what he's doing now.
Yeah.
Averaging 20. Caleb Martin, I'm sorry. Ask anybody else who Caleb Martin's. They're going, who? Who's that?
Exactly.
I don't know who that is. They'll probably say now, oh, that's the guy that's going off for the Heat. That's the guy besides Jimmy Butler that's going off for the Heat. That's the only way people know that's Caleb Martin. Other than that, people are like, who's that? I don't know who that is. Reno, University of Nevada, Reno, where's that? Nevada, I don't know.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, where's that? I don't know where that is. So it's amazing. I loved, and this is where I get into it, undrafted players. We talk about the great Miami Heat organizations looking at players that are doubted from the beginning. From the beginning. Because if we talk about all these undrafted guys' stories, it's like it was almost meant to be for them. It was like, wow, you guys finally got to the point to where you were like wanting to be, where you worked so hard. Jimmy Butler was homeless, went to JUCO community, like JUCO, went to then Division II, then went to Marquette. Duncan Robinson went to JUCO. Like then went to Division II, Division III, then went to Michigan. Gabe Vincent, went to a division. I think he went division. I don't know if he started off Division I, but maybe he did. But it was a low Division I school, very low Division I. But guess where he got his exposure? In the FIBA World Cup when he was playing for Coach Mike Brown for the Nigerian national basketball team. That's where Gabe Vincent got his exposure, and he went off for them. And we were like, you know what? We need to give this guy Gabe Vincent a try. Give this guy minutes. And guess what he did? He took that and said, you know what? You guys made the best option. Because he plays so well, and I'm not going to lie, I love the way, because he doesn't just try to set up people. He can set up his own shot. Can we not forget about the little step back he got against Jason Tatum where he drives, steps back, drains a shot to go up to even more solidify that we win the game? This is a guy that no one knows about. Then we talk about Haywood Highsmith, a guy that comes from Willing Jesuit, West Virginia, that no one even knows. And he's coming in, stealing the ball from Jason Tatum, I love that part. I love the Miami Heat, and I love Jimmy Butler. I love Bam. I love our main guys and everything, like Jimmy, Bam, and Kyle Lowry. But please, for the love of God, for everybody, give the recognition that these guys deserve. These guys are stepping up beyond what people are thinking. People are like, oh, they'll come in and do what they do. No, they're coming in and acting like they're the best player on the team. And that's why I love this Heat team, because this is how we treat our players. Even our players will treat our other players, their teammates on the team, that they're the star player. If you watch Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry talk about this team, Bam talk about this team in the press conference, they're saying, do not take for granted what Gabe Vince is doing. Do not take for granted what Caleb Martin is doing. Do not take for granted what Max Strus is doing. These guys are stars. You may not see it, but we see it. Jimmy Butler's like, we see it in the gym. We see it when they're out working out. We are doing this also, and another thing that I could argue, because a lot of people are like, oh, the Celtics series, maybe some of the Knicks, not mainly the Knicks series, but maybe the Bucks injuries. I'm sorry. We're doing this without our number 2 scoring player on the team. And we're the worst scoring team, and we have our second option out. And then our other good role player in Victor Oladipo is out. When Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo, and Bam Adebayo play on the defensive end, their defensive rating is amongst the top 3 when it's them 3 on the court. That's ridiculous. And we don't even have that. Imagine if we had the 20 points per game from Tyler Hero.
He might come back game 3, they said.
I hope. Because to be honest,
I bring him off the bench though, right?
I would be more confident that we win the NBA Finals if Tyler Hero comes back. I would be more confident, but I don't know, because it is his hand.
I'm not gonna lie. I remember seeing that report where, if Tyler Hero wants to return, it'd be in the NBA Finals. This is before even the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just laughed. And here we are.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You were the fault of everyone else. It's okay.
Fine. You're welcome. My doubt in the Heat led to their success.
Yeah. I mean, you doubt us. We come back with a punch in your mouth and.
I'm not saying you, but a lot of Heat fans doubted you guys too.
No, we did. No, trust me. Oh, I know Heat fans are bad too. Heat fans are bad.
That's no point in their mouth. But I remember him saying he hopes they lose the play until when they play the Bulls, because they'd rather have a chance of getting Victor at the time. And here we are. Hey, I get it though. I probably would have said the same thing.
You know, I didn't want that. You know, I wanted us to win.
Win, baby, and look where you are.
And we're here, and I wanted us to win, and us winning more has made me think more that we're like, I am sure of NBA. I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say I'm sure of NBA Finals, hopefully. But we've been saying it. We've been putting it out in the world. Jimmy Butler said it last year when we lost to the Celtics in Game 7. He said, "We'll be back." He said, "Put a pin in this. We're gonna come back."
That's right.
You know what's funny? They played that video during the fourth quarter? They played that video of Jimmy Butler saying that. You know what's so funny? He said, we'll come back with a better team. We came out with the same team, but still slightly depleted, and we still beat them. Crazy. We had Tyler Hero last time. We
And
had
you guys added
last year.
Boston added Brogdon too.
Yeah. They got better than us. They got better than us. And we feel
Oh, they did.
like I
Yeah,
could
they
go on
added
and on, and I don't
they
want to
added
keep
Joker
ringing
too.
everyone's ears about the Miami Heat because I'm probably the one of the most annoying people when it comes to talking sports in general for the Heat.
Not at all.
But I will
If you were, I wouldn't be doing this podcast with you.
but I will say this with 100% out of everything. I am so confident in this team right now, and I know it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be like we're gonna have to fight at not even at 150%. We're gonna need 250% out of every single player to play against the Nuggets, and I know that. But I also am confident we will give that, and I know we will give the
Okay.
Nuggets a problem.
So what I got Nuggets in 6. What do you what's this series gonna go? Who's winning? How many games?
Nuggets in 7.
In 7. Okay, I respect. Hey, so either you're right or you're wrong, but you're happy. So I get it.
Yeah, that's all.
I got Nuggets in 6.
That's why I'm keeping it at that because I know I'm keeping it at that. Nuggets in
I
7.
wouldn't be shocked though. I would not be shocked if it went 7, but I also would not be shocked if the Nuggets win in 5.
Oh yeah. See, I'm on the same boat too, but I don't want to put that out. I'm literally
No, yeah.
I'm
If
following.
I would have,
Let me
yeah.
tell you this, Brian. I am following every ritual, every spiritual, everything. Rich, I am following everything. On game days, I'm wearing all red Miami Heat stuff. I'm doing that. I am when I go to the gym, I'm picking numbers of players on the team and praying in the locker, praying that we win the next game. You can ask my boy Matt. You can ask my boy Lation that's been going to the gym with me, getting big. Shout out to my boys. But we are picking numbers that represent players on the team on the Heat, hoping that we win the next series. And last game, we picked 42 for an older Kevin Love, but we also picked it for I picked it also for one of my favorite movies of all time.
42?
42. Yeah, Jackie Robinson.
Great movie.
Favorite
Great movie.
Love
I love that movie.
you know,
Love that
R.I.P. to
movie.
Chadwick Boseman.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Man, rest in
to my
peace.
guy. I love him. That's one of my favorite actors ever. Him and Denzel Washington, one of my favorite actors. But I picked that locker, and I said, and I prayed. I sat there, and I just before Game 7, I was there, and I just said, Sunday, we went to the gym. I sat there. I even got on my knees right before I'm in Planet Fitness locker room. Planet Fitness locker room on my knees right in front of locker 42 and going, please win game 7. Just please, we need this. I want to go to the finals. I want this badly, so badly, so badly. I want this. And then we put our stuff in there and we go work out and lift. But
Man,
I've been
I
following
wish you luck, man.
every ritual.
Yeah, this is the first NBA Finals matchup in a while where like I don't really care who wins. I'm just hoping for good basketball, but I mean it's hard to not pick the Heat. It's hard to not pick the Nuggets, but it's gonna be fun, man. And hey, good luck, Mike. You know I get it. It's gonna be a tough time for you. Hopefully it's not a tough time for you, but I know how stressful those games are. So
Yeah.
not really.
Every game, I'll honestly say this, every game has been stressful. Even though we've been up 3-0, even though we were up 2-0, up 3-1, I was still very hard on ourselves because I know realistically we're not supposed to be here. We are not supposed to be here. No. I'm sorry. Even Gilbert Arenas on his podcast has been saying, who the heck are on this team? Who the heck's on this team? I'm sorry. Like, I know these guys. I know they got names, and I know they're good players, but who are these guys? I'm sorry. None of them have all-stars. None of them have, been invited to All-Star Weekend. They're not guys talked about. Like, we're not supposed to be here, and we are here, and I am so happy, and I love that. I love a team that is doubted through it all. Through it all. We've been doubted ever since LeBron left the team. Everyone's like, the Heat will never go to the finals anymore. They don't have LeBron. They don't have Dwayne Wade. Everyone's like, you'll never make it. And look who we made it with now. Jimmy Butler, Bam, Caleb Martin, a bunch of names that barely anyone knows. And we're doing it with, and I'm going to say it here, one of the top 5 coaches of all time. I'm done. I will say that. If that's my crazy take, I'll take that.
That's
Top
good, man.
5 coach
That's
of
nice.
all time. I don't care. I don't know anybody right now in this playoffs that's happened has made so much in-game adjustments and thrown so much at different teams. Teams that are number 1, number 2, number 3, either in the Eastern Conference or even in scoring in general. The Knicks were a top, 5, 10 team in scoring? We're last. We are last. I'm sorry to bring up your Knicks. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're good.
And then we played the Bucks and the Celtics. That's probably what number 1 and number 2 scoring offenses in the league. And we beat them. We're not supposed to be here, but we are. And I'm happy about it. And we have fought every single game to the end of it. Like, just think, our starting 5 still played at the end of Game 7 till the last 1 minute. Did you peep that?
Yeah, I know.
Till the last 1 minute. Like, literally, Eric Spoelstra was like, all right, at 1 minute left, when we were already up by like 20, he was like, all right, get off the floor. Eric Spoelstra will play you until you're puking on the ground, and I love that. I don't care.
That's basketball.
That's basketball. That shows hard work. That right there, like, I loved it, even though it hurt, and we won that game in the bubble when Jimmy Butler's like this.
Yeah,
Breathing.
I remember that.
That's how I know you're playing hard. That's how I know you want this as bad as everyone. Not even as everyone. You want it worse. You want it so much more than everyone else on that freaking court. Everyone else on that court. And we are that team. And I know on the other end in this finals that another team is just like that because they're doubted just as much as us. And they have a star player. They have the player. They have the number 1 player in the world. And they've been doubted.
Yeah.
So this finals matchup is probably a dream made in heaven for me because obviously it's my Heat, but it's also just the fact that both these teams have been in positions where it's like no one will ever think you'll win a finals. No one will ever think you'll make it to the finals because you don't have enough. You don't have the right pieces. You don't have enough stars. You don't have this. You don't have that. Hello, world. We're here. Hello, world. We're here. We're in the NBA Finals. Say something now. Say something now. I'm sorry. We just beat the top teams in the East. We just beat the top teams in the West. Talking on the Nuggets side. What are you going to say now? We beat your LeBron narrative. We beat your KD narrative. We beat your Warriors narrative.
Yeah.
Nuggets are here and the Heat are here. That's all I'm going to say.
Crazy, man.
And I'm done with my rant. I know right now I can keep going on, but
hey, man, you're all good, man.
I mean, if you didn't catch this in the beginning, I was talking about how the fact that this very seat right here was the very seat that I started just crying. I sat here right when the buzzer went off. I went like this, and I screamed so loud. I'm surprised I didn't get a disturbance or called on me. But I screamed for about almost 30 seconds straight. Just screamed because I was like, holy crap, we're going to the finals. But then I cried. I cried so much because of everything that maybe has gone with my life or everything that he have gone through. Just the fact that like this has made my life like this is my heart is this team. Like my heart could be my cat Jigsaw. My heart could be in basketball. My heart lives with the Miami Heat, and I cried so much. I told my cousin not to call me. I told my parents to not call me. I said I need complete silence because I was crying so much because I was like, this brings me so much joy that like this is my team, man. Like this is. I know I'm a Dolphins fan to the end of the day. I know I'm a Marlins fan to the end of the day, but you cannot take away the Heat away from me. This is my team, this is my love, this is my heart, this is everything to me, and I just really, really hope we make this a fighting battle against the Nuggets, and if we can take it from them, oh my Lord. Like I said, Brian, if we win the finals, I'm going to Miami. I will find a way. I'm going. I don't care. I don't care. I know my parents are going to
Yeah.
watch this and be like, what do you think you're about to go do? But you, mom and dad, but please understand that if the Heat win, oh my gosh. I know they know this means so much to me because they've been trying to call me and everything. I know my dad's been trying to call me and everything. But God, this means so much for me. I know a lot of things probably haven't gone my way, but this right here is going my way, and I'm so happy about it. So happy about it.
Well deserved.
So, because Monday was probably one of the best days. I even said this before the pod. Mondays was probably one of the best days I had in a little bit. One of the best days I've had in a little bit because it was Memorial Day. I went kayaking, and then on the river. I even fell asleep on the river, which was probably one of the most calming things I've ever done in my life. Just going down a river in a kayak, knocked out. But people were like, "Oh, that's a little unsafe. You could have drowned." I'm like, "Oh, well, I had my friend holding on to me, but we're good." But but yeah, and then we destroyed Game 7, and yeah, and we're here in the NBA Finals, and now we are. I mean, the boys are already landed in
Denver. Four more.
Oh,
Four more.
We said this. We said it. Jimmy Butler said it in the Eastern Conference Finals in the ceremony. He said we still got 4 more. See, that's a. Oh my God! See, I keep going. That's another thing that I love about this team. We are not satisfied. We are still. If you saw us win, when you saw us that ceremony, nobody was satisfied on that. Everyone was like this.
Yeah.
We're happy. Like Bam started kind of getting excited, but like even then, Jimmy Butler was sitting there like this.
Yeah, he's like,
Caleb Martin was hiding, even though people were trying to give him his props. Caleb Martin was hiding.
Yeah, let's get to Denver. That's it.
Get to Denver. 4 games. We still have 4 games left, and that's my motto right now. We still got 4 left. We still got 4 left, and that's all that matters.
Wow. Right.
But I'm done. Let me catch my breath. I'm done.
I'd be the same way if my team went to the championship, man. I get it. Actually, I don't get it because my team hasn't been to the championship.
Oh, stop it.
One day.
They will. Trust me. Like you said, I agree with you too. You guys are a shooting guard away from the finals. I'm telling you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully next year. JB, I know I'm critical of you. Come to the next. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know. It's been crazy. Been a crazy couple of days. I mean, I'm happy. Today is Wednesday, actually. So tomorrow's game 1.
Tomorrow's game 1.
Tomorrow is game 1. Wow, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. I mean, we can now start getting into the matchups and the Heat Nuggets, but I mean, we kind of talked about it already. I will say this. When it comes to the role players, I will say Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, and Duncan definitely have a role to step in when they come against this Nuggets team. I will also say Max Strus also has a role to step in too. And, I really just hope, because I know what we're going to get from Jimmy Butler. We're going to get almost a triple-double, with 20-some points, with maybe like 3 or 4 steals. Because that's another thing. This man is averaging 3 steals a game. He had like 6 against the Celtics at one point. So I know defensively we can maybe contain, because I know this is the one matchup I'm really looking forward to, and this is why, but Bam Adebayo versus Nikola Jokic is going to be a very, very interesting matchup. Depending if we put Bam on him. But I've also argued we might put Jimmy on Nikola Jokic, which I wouldn't be too upset about, because I know Jimmy has guarded big men before, like even when the crazy Timberwolves series, you remember that crazy Timberwolves story came out where he was playing with the bench and beating the starters? The man was saying, I'm going to guard Cat every single time. He's like, I'm going to guard Cat and I'm going to destroy this man. Not saying that Cat's as good as Nikola Jokic, but that's just another example that Jimmy is able to guard another big man that is pretty versatile. Probably not as versatile as Jokic, but we'll see. I think Bam did a pretty good job of guarding Jason Tatum, even when he had a role, when he even had a switch out and guard Jaylen Brown, he did a really good job. So we'll see. And I know a lot of people have been talking about last year where Markieff Morris hit Jokic and Jokic comes back and hits him back. So we'll see. We'll see. We don't know if it's going to get that antsy. I think we have more respect for the Nuggets since then, and I think we have more respect mutually. I don't think we'll hate each other, but hey, if it brings out that hate and it gets a little chippy, hey, this is the NBA Finals, man.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. I mean, I'm not going to say I think people should start yelling at each other, start fighting. I'm not saying that, but competitiveness, man. You don't want to lose. You don't want the guy that you're guarding to go off on you. You don't want any of that. You want positivity throughout. You want to go off. You want to lock down the guy that you're guarding. You want to be winning. It's all of that. You want to make sure you're beating your opponent in every stat. You want to make sure you're doing good in every stat. Like it's a lot, but this game is. And this one player though. There's one thing I will say, and I'm only going to talk on the Heat side of things, and like more just because I already kind of expect what to see from the Nuggets and everything, and I'm just going to talk about this more from a Heat fan. But I do want to see Haywood Highsmith play a lot more this series. Because I feel like he will definitely bring another really good defensive body out there, which if we do run a zone around Nikolai Jokic or play man or a man zone against Jokic, I feel like he's able to move around a lot better. Oh my gosh, I could talk so much about Haywood Highsmith, and I've only really seen him play probably a couple games throughout the season, and then really the Celtics series because like he moves his feet so well, he can guard really well, and I think he's underrated. Obviously, he's underrated on the bench because no one knows who he is and he doesn't play. But you go, I would say, Brian, if you have the time, go look at Haywood Highsmith's defensive highlights. Go look back how he played.
He shows flash. He just doesn't play a lot.
Yes, he's that guy. So. But looking forward into this Heat Nuggets, I already know what to expect. It's going to be good role players by the Nuggets. Nikolai Jokic remember, I'm not going to deny this. Jokic is automatically going to get 10, 10, and 10. I already know that. That's going to happen. That's fine. I know that's going to happen. And we've known, this is always our game plan. We know who's going to go off. The Bucks, we know Giannis, Chris Middleton, then maybe Drew Holiday are going to go off. They're going to do their thing. That's like their 1, 2, and 3 options, right? We play the Knicks. We know Jalen Brunson's going to go off. They're going to give the ball to Julius Randle. And then from there, they maybe go RJ Barrett and then somebody else. We know that was your scoring option. We know, all right, if there's anything, let these guys beat us, but don't let anyone else beat us. Celtics, we knew the same thing. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. That's where it starts. Stop that. Let everyone else develop. See how it goes. Yes, it did bite us in the butt sometimes from those guys with the role players and their guard depth with the Celtics. But it did come back to bite them because nobody was making open shots. The pressure was getting to them too much, I would say, because our zone, like, obviously when you're switching from a zone to a man to then a man zone, you don't know what to do. You're like, wait, who am I getting guarded by? Wait, you don't know if someone's going to come from this side. You don't know if someone's going to come from, and with us, we're switching almost everything. Yeah. You don't know who's going to be coming at you. You don't know if Jimmy Butler's just going to come right behind you and steal the ball. You don't know if Bam's just going to come up and go like this, and you're just going to go, oh, crud, I can't throw the ball over him. We throw a lot at you, and I hope that continues, and I know it's going to continue against the Nuggets, but I do know the Nuggets are a very prepared team, and they're they let it come to them team, which I like, and I mean, Jokic is one of the best playmaking big men, so we cannot make mistakes on defense with him. We cannot afford that. That's the one thing I will say. We cannot make any defensive mistakes against the Nuggets. That's the number one priority. We cannot make any defensive mistakes because Nikolai Jokic will expose us for that 100%.
Yeah, and I think with that Nuggets team, same for the Nuggets though too. On the flip side, you're guarding the Heat. Like the biggest thing with that is so Jokic, Butler, Murray, they're gonna get their own.
Yeah,
and I think especially if you're the Nuggets, maybe this shouldn't be the case because we saw it in the Boston series, but you got to make someone else beat you. Because I mean, again, talking about the Celtics when they played the Celtics, someone else did beat the Celtics. Caleb Martin, Max Strus they all stepped up. But if you're the Nuggets, you cannot let Jimmy go for 40, 10, and 5 because it's playoff Jimmy. Like you can't. And then on the flip side, as you said, Jokic is going to get his. Like there's no stopping Jokic. There's no really even stopping Murray or Butler. It's just about containing them and limiting their opportunities to take over a game. And that's what I think is key for both of these teams. You have to make someone else beat you. That's why I think it's going to come down to whatever role players outplay each other. Like, so if the Nuggets role players easily outplay the Heat role players, I think the Nuggets got it. If it's vice versa, I think the Heat got it. So that's what it's going to come down to, because Butler's going to be ready to play. I know he had an iffy conference finals stretch, especially between games games 4 and 6. He's going to be ready to go, though. He's going to be ready to go. The Heat are going to be ready to go. The Nuggets it feels like they've been resting for like 3 months, but yeah, they're going to be rested and ready to go. I think game 1, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough battle. I think Denver comes out because obviously well rested. Miami's kind of coming off that game 7 long series. It's going to be a great series, though, but I do think Denver has enough to pull it out. And I think if Jokic gets this ring, those people who very critical of his playoff performances can stop it, because he's the best player in the world as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be a great series, and I think this is great for the NBA, as I said before, that these two teams are matching up. It's just going to be a lot of fun basketball, Mike. So that's basically like what I got to say for that. I'm excited for the finals. I think this is something we haven't really seen in a long time, and it's going to be a great brand of basketball, Mike. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I'm definitely excited. Can't wait for it to start tomorrow. I believe the game is at 8:30 on ABC. That's also going to be presented by YouTube TV, so definitely tune in if you have YouTube TV for that. But 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time in Denver, Colorado. Denver Nuggets go up against Miami Heat. Game 1. So we'll see. We will definitely see. It's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I think we're going to see a lot. We're going to see a lot. I think we're going to see a lot of defense. We're going to see a lot of offense. And I think it's going to be a good matchup. And I think logically, if I had to pick a prediction, Nuggets in 7. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I got Nuggets in 6, but it's gonna be great. I wouldn't be shocked if the Heat win the series. I wouldn't be shocked if the Nuggets win in 5. It's gonna be a great series, man. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But I do got Nuggets in 6 at the end.
No, for sure. I definitely agree. But I mean, wow, made it to this point, man. Finals, man. Back in we started in November? End of November.
Yeah, for like November 9th, 15th, something like that.
End of November, so kind of in the beginning of the season, and we are all the way here. Episode
20. This is 21, I believe, or 22.
21. I think it's episode
21.
21.
Crazy.
That means a lot. That's Jimmy Butler's old. That's Jimmy Butler's old number when he was on the Chicago Bulls. 21 Savage, one of my favorite rappers. Maybe some good things for us. But,
maybe not.
Wow, 21 episodes. We're all the way in the finals, and one of our teams are there. So I think this is great. This is awesome.
Hey, I'm rooting for you. Oh man, I don't know, Mike.
Make it this far, all the way in the finals, man. Finals, crazy. We're all the way here, episode 21 with Hoopin with Mike and Brian, all the way in the NBA Finals. We're still gonna bring content. I think we should bring some dope finals content. But we have content. Obviously, I've said multiple times I have contents in the vault. It's just they're not done yet because I've been falling asleep, looking like Jimmy Butler in the bubble on this table trying to work some content. But gosh, work is working me like a dog. So at least I'm getting the bag. At least I'm doing my thing, and priorities are getting done. But oof, I miss this so much. So, because I miss talking about my team. I miss talking to my boy Bri. Man.
Be back though. It's been too long, man. It's back, but as I said, I also don't want to forget, because I usually do forget. But as you guys know, we're on all platforms at Hoopin with Mike and Brian. We're on Instagram and TikTok at hoopin.mb, and also on YouTube at Hoopin with Mike and Brian. So just be sure to subscribe, follow, leave a comment, message us, DM us, whatever you gotta do. Let us know. But Mike, yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy how we're here.
It's crazy. I mean, crazy that we're here. It's crazy that we made it this far. We still got content dropping. Brian's over here dropping his IQ mind that he has. He's talking of basketball, dropping his
We're trying.
on the social media. But definitely, everybody, please stay tuned to that. We're gonna be dropping new
Yes, sir.
content. I actually have an idea in the works, possibly with some friends, to record some hooping sessions. Maybe see Mike
Oh.
hooping. Might have to get you out there in
Yeah,
Jersey. See if Drake can get you. Does
Alex and
the
Hoop.
good buddies start playing soon?
Hey, yes. Actually, we should have. I believe registration opens up later this week, or I think tomorrow maybe. But yeah, Good Buddies are gonna start up. Last year we actually were not very healthy. I was sick for the first month of the season last year. Um, I missed the first 4 games of 8 games, and then playoff time I was not there for playoffs because I had to leave to go back to beautiful Morgantown, West Virginia. But we got a full team coming back pretty much. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's in good shape. It's gonna be fun. Watch out for the Good Buddies, of course, of course. Uh, Mike, I didn't play. I didn't play where I wanted to play in the Intramural League. For West Virginia, I was out of it. I was out of shape. But last season, Mike, I had a game where I had 32, 8-7, and we won.
Dang,
So
you
I'm not as
could
bad.
do that for U92 the Moose. Wow, it's messed up.
No, Mike, blame Coach Tanner Lambert. He held me back. But yeah,
Shout out Tanner.
this is all a part of a plan to get in shape for the intramural basketball season at West Virginia University. So
Bro, you
stay
in the
tuned.
gym?
What's up?
I remember we texted last time. You said you were in the gym.
Oh yeah, Andre has shout out Films by ID again. Andre's got a little like workout stuff, like a workout, like a little gym in his basement. So I go there weekly, get some lifting in. You know what I'm saying? You're getting bigger, but yeah, staying on the grind, man.
There you go. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. I mean, shoot, I'm out here working at B Dubs. So if anybody's watching from Morgantown, come visit B Dubs. Visit your beautiful boy, Mike from Hoopin.
Hey, sure.
But man, we are in the finals. We are back, making another episode, and definitely more content is gonna be here. So definitely stay tuned, stay supporting, and everything with people. And yeah, I mean, thank you for all the support that people have been giving us, most definitely. And I love that people are still tuning in. I love that people are still partaking in some of the activities that we have on our social media, Brian. I love that you're doing that. I know I need to do more on my end, and it's going to happen. And trust me, there's going to be some time. Hopefully, after this week, I've already had conversations with some people to slow it down a little bit, so I can do my thing and stuff like that. But hey,
we're on the grind.
We are on the grind, but like we have said from the beginning, all we are doing is going up from here. All we are doing is to improve, to get better. We are trying to expose this podcast to be on a national level, at point global, if it gets to that point. Because I know basketball is a global sport. But like I said many, many times, and I'm going to say it again here, keep hooping.